Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has holy chakra and sword. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Shadow Blaze Mediator and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Long ago, when the world was young, there was a young boy. His name was Hinrich, a hero of a goddess known as Ilias. Hinrich was known far and wide, fighting to protect those who couldn't do so, or simply did not want to fight. One day, he had fought a being known as the Monster Lord. Its name was Alphys VIII. In the end, he won. However, the cost of him winning was not because of what he did. No, the cause was that he had a monster known as Alphys IX, the daughter of Alphys VIII. In the end, Alphys VIII was killed, and her daughter replaced her. Their win was short-lived, however. Ilias, aware of the actions that brought Alphys VIII down, were not in compliance with her wishes, and as such, Hinrich was sealed in a place known as Sealed Sinner's Prison. 500 years later, a young boy named Luca followed the same path as Hinrich. His father had attacked Alphys XV. He had found a monster near death, and against what most others would do, nursed her back to health. She had introduced herself as Alice and thanked him. From that point on, she had been teaching him to fight. It wasn't long after that he had found a sword known as Angel Halo. With Angel Halo in hand, the two traveled across the continent, helping others, and finding who Luca truly was. Luca's faith and beliefs clashed at nearly every opportunity. It had taken a long time, many battles, and a few friends made before he finally made it to the place known as the Monster Lord's Castle. What he was there for: coexistence between humans and monsters. The four Heavenly Knights tried to stop him, but they failed. When he finally made it through, he fought with the Monster Lord Alphys XVI. The fight was harsh, but with the power of the four elemental spirits, he had managed to push her into a corner, one that she couldn't get out of, nor did she try to, as she was on her last legs. He had refused to deal the finishing blow, and the goddess Ilias intervened. Due to his lack of faith in her teachings, he questioned Ilias. After some talking, Luca drew his sword at Ilias. It was then, a war had begun. Chimeric monsters that were a combination of several others, and angels had attacked the castle. The battle was fierce and great. Pure monsters, the Heavenly Knights, who had survived their encounter with Luca, and Alphys XVI all fought against the chimeric monsters and angels. The war between Ilias and the monsters had finally begun for real. The monsters led by Luca, the angels led by Ilias. The fighting had lasted a long time. It took a good week to find a weak point in the angels' defenses. Luca had ended up facing all of the angels on his own, somehow being the only one that could even harm them. In the end, the monsters led by Luca had won, though with severe casualties. Ilias had been dealt a death blow, never to be seen again. On her last legs, Ilias pleaded to him. The one known as Black Alice had been defeated by Alphys XVI, the same monster that had traveled with Luca the entire time. Ilias's pleas were heard, and yet promptly ignored. He then dealt the final blow, seeing her inability to change her ways and views. His final words to her, as he plunged Angel Halo into her body, were: "The only reason we won is because we understand and care for each other's feelings. You, who do not care about the truth, is what blocks the coexistence that we all wish for. Without you, it will be possible. Goodbye, Ilias. I hope you never return." It had taken him a good 10 years to finally get coexistence into the heads of humans. After all that time, Alphys XVI and Luca had continued to travel together. The two of them were happy together, and managed to spread the ideals of coexistence. It had lasted a long time. The four Heavenly Knights stayed in one region each. Irubity, the Slime Queen, had stayed in Undine's Spring. Tamamo, the nine-tailed Kitsune, had decided to head home to Yamatai village in the northeast. Granbiria, the dragon, had decided to travel and find a worthy challenge as a warrior. She never killed her opponents, but as a warrior that has always held honor, she never ridiculed her opponents, whether they won or lost. After 20 years, the only one to ever beat her was Luca, and she wasn't entirely surprised. Alma, the succubus, just went around doing whatever she wanted to. She usually stayed to participate in the Colosseum in Grand Noah City under the name Cuba. Alphys XVI had done what no other monster lord had done and given birth to multiple children with the same man, Luca. They had a good few children. Their children were a mix of humans and monsters, unheard of so far. Luca had finally passed on at the age of 72, while most humans at the time only lasted a good 40 years. The peaceful coexistence lasted a good 300 years after Luca's death. Luca's descendants had managed a different set of powers. Most of them lived longer than most. Some had the natural ability to use the four elements without the powers of the four elemental spirits, who have been in hiding ever since his death. The coexistence was shattered when a beast of massive destruction was released upon the world. The four Heavenly Knights, who were still alive, tried to fight it, alongside a human with strange eyes, a descendant of their old friend Luca. The fight lasted months, but without Angel Halo, which was hidden somewhere by Luca long ago, they had to find another way to bring it down. In the end, the human was the one that defeated the beast in a way no one had ever thought before. He sealed it into himself. The beast was simply known as the Jubi, the reason for its existence unknown to all. The 4 heavenly knights and the man managed to make it back to the lands untouched by the beast, and told them the beast was sealed. The man became known as the Rokudo Sennin. The coexistence was nearly shattered, however, and the 4 heavenly knights had gone into hiding. It was years later, on the deathbed of the Rokudo Sennin, that he had asked his 3 sons, and gave them a portion of his power. He then gave them the power that corresponded with their own ideals. One went on to found the Uchiha clan. Another went on to found the Senju clan. The third went on to found the Uzumaki clan. The third was also the eldest of the 3, and went off on his own. However, there was a 4th clan that descended from the hero Luca. They held no relation to the Rokudo Sennin except by going back far enough to Luca's children. This clan was named the Namikaze clan, yet never expanded much. They were widely unknown for the most part, until the age of the clan wars had begun. They had dealt serious blows to other clans. Regardless of their small numbers, they were also the most skilled. Far more so than the clans descended from the Rokudo Sennin. After a while, several villages were founded. The Namikaze had stayed widely neutral, until their near eradication in something known as the Second Great Shinobi War. The only known survivor, Minato Namikaze. As a toddler he was taken to Konohagakure. His clan had remained unknown to that day, and as such, no one knew of the power he held. He grew up to be a shinobi. His ideals, however, were similar to those of his ancestor. He would rather talk out a problem than kill to resolve it. During the Third Great Shinobi War, he brought victory to Konohagakure. He had then become Hokage, the leader of Konohagakure. 2 years later he had a wife. Not knowing of their ancestry, they had a child. However, it was not to be. On the day of the child's birth, someone had attacked. The Kyubi no Yoko had been released and sent to attack. In the end, the Kyubi had been sealed in the newborn baby. The baby's name? Naruto Uzumaki. Both of his parents were descendants of the hero Luca, his name unknown to this day. The Heavenly Knights have been in hiding all this time, as well. Granbiria, the Dragon Queen, had been sticking to what has been known as Earth Country and is kept as a secret to Iwagakure. Granbiria never fought in the wars, so as to avoid useless bloodshed. She was the only monster that has been known to any human for a long time. Alma had decided to hide in the southwest, now known as Wind Country. No humans alive knew of her. Tamamo had decided to make a hideout in the mountains of Lightning Country. Kumogakure was built nearby, at that. She still remained unnoticed by them. Arubadi had decided to stay in a cave that was connected to every body of water in the continent. She had stayed cut off from humans from the get-go, though she enjoyed Luca's company. However, she had found another person that she found a general liking to. His name was Tobarama Senju. She had granted him an insane amount of control over water in exchange for one thing: he was to keep her location a secret. He had agreed, and he constantly protected the place where he found her. Konohagakure was built nearby, founded by the Senju and Uchiha clans. Other clans soon joined in. Now, 5 years after the forced attack by the Kyubi no Yoko and sealing, Naruto Uzumaki is where our story begins. It was his 5th birthday, and he had gone outside. He had recently gotten an apartment from the old man Hokage, as he called him. However, his happiness would not last. A drunken villager spotted him, and started to attack with a ceramic bottle of sake. It wasn't long until a mob had formed and had been chasing him. He had managed to get to the nearby forest, and found a lake. Naruto Uzumaki had golden blonde hair, cerulean blue eyes, and 3 whisker-like birthmarks on each cheek. Supposedly, he was an orphan, never knowing who his parents were. Back to the story, Naruto had tripped on a tree root near the lake. The drunken villagers had started to beat him, leave scars, burns, cuts, and then some. Finally, one got the idea of making him drown in the lake. They had gotten a particularly heavy rock, tied it to his ankle, and threw him in the lake. It was then the Anbu arrived, and took care of the mob. After the mob was taken care of, one of the Anbu jumped into the lake, another went to inform the Hokage, and the rest got rid of the bodies. The Anbu came back up soon afterwards. No sign of him. The Hokage then showed up. He was old, definitely, with wrinkles and all. He wore white robes with red trim. The hat was in the same colors but had the kanji for fire on the front. Anbu, where is he? He questioned them, his voice hard. They had thrown Uzumaki-san into the lake as we were arriving. Cat went into the lake to find him. The Anbu with the snake mask said. She had purple hair, and a standard Anbu outfit. Cat? The Hokage questioned. The Anbu with the cat mask had a katana strapped to her back. She also had purple hair. Whereas Cat's hair went down to her mid-back, Snake's hair was tied up in a ponytail. Hokage-sama, there is no sign of Uzumaki-san in the lake. I could find no trace of him, and his chakra is gone. I managed to find a trail, but it cuts off with nothing in the area. It's as if he is no longer in the area. People do not vanish into thin air, Cat. His voice was hard, but the pain in it was evident. And he cannot use his chakra, much less suppress it. Therefore, if he was thrown down there, he would be found. The trail ends. Not with a chakra spike, but a cold end with no trace going anywhere. I will see if there is another lead down there, But, the Hokage looked at her. Do it. He is down there somewhere. Find him. Before it's too late. Hi. Kat went back into the water, and searched around the entire lake. Kat knew what was going on. Naruto was gone. Taken. Whoever had him wasn't giving out their location. Little did she know, this lake was a sacred one. Naruto was no longer in the lake either. Unknown cave. Naruto was lying on the ground, unconscious. There was, what seemed to be, a blue figure made of gelatin. There was a small fire near the kid. The figure was decidedly female, had no skin, and seemed to move like slime. She continuously looked at the kid she saved from drowning. His features were off, but she sensed an old friend in him. Why, she didn't know. She just sensed that friend of hers. Undine, what seemed to be similar to the figure, also said he had a similarity to their friend. Irubity, this boy he holds Luca's blood. The smaller figure stated. I see that, Undine. But that's not all. I sense Luca emanating from this boy. The last one to come here was of Luca's blood, but did not give me this feeling. I don't just feel Luca's blood in him, but rather, Luca himself. The larger figure, Irubity, replied. Undine then recognized the boy. Wait. Irubity, this kid is a Jinchuriki. This earned the slime's attention. A Jinchuriki? But that would mean, I'm not sure if it is him, but I can find out. Undine stated, before going into the boy's mind. She ended up next to a large gate with a flimsy piece of paper on it. QB, Undine breathed. The giant fox opened its eyes. Who are you? Then the eyes, which were sleepy before, were now wide awake after seeing Undine. She had seen the surprise and shock in the giant fox's eyes. Undine, is that you? You know me? That's right, you wouldn't recognize me as I am now. The fox replied. In this life, I am known as Kurama, but I fought alongside you, Sylph, Gnome, and Salamander against Aliphes the 16th, and then Ilias. After I died, my soul was taken. Some time later, my soul was pulled from the afterlife, which was quite boring, mind you, and placed in this fox body. You are Luca? Undine was hesitant at the guess. The fox nodded at the guess. Luca? How the hell? Don't ask me why I was chosen to be this fox, or even what happened beforehand. I have no idea. How's Alice? Dead. She died a good 1,000 years ago. 20 years before the Jubi attacked, and you were reborn. Undine explained. The only monsters left alive are in hiding, the Heavenly Knights included. I see. I guess I failed. No, you didn't fail. You brought coexistence. We don't know how the Jubi came into creation, but one of your descendants sealed it into himself. The guy was just as much of an idiot as you were. Still just as pure. The fox paused. Is Irubity nearby? Yeah, why? Tell her I'm sealed in this kid. Take care of him. I sense a good 70% of my blood in him. Strange considering the fact that it should be diluted so far out. I can also feel he holds my holy energy. The same energy I used to take out those angels. Only one of my children had it, but he went off on his own. Haven't seen him since. You think he could be descended from you in 2 paths? Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. The fox replied. Undine nodded. I see. I'll let Irubity know. She'll take care of the kid, but he'll have to know about you. You know that, right? Teach him to follow the flow. How to fight. I had hit an angel halo long ago. When he's ready, I'll lead him to it. All right. We'll tell him of you being sealed in him. Only mention me by the name Luca, and that he knows not to let it out. If people find out that he knows of my existence, then it will only attract more trouble for him. Keep him safe. Stay with him. I know that Irubity won't leave her home. Just make sure to take care of the kit. And let the other spirits know. If I were a betting man, Sylph would have a lot of fun with this one. All right. See you soon. Undine then left the sewer-like mind, Irubity's cave. Undine came out of the unconscious blonde. What did you find, Undine? I found Luca. She breathed. Luca is sealed into this kid? Shouldn't that be impossible? Irubity inquired. Normally, I'd agree. But you and I both know that Luca was a bringer of seemingly impossible events. After a while, you get used to his impossibly surprising actions. She then delivered the message to Irubity. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna follow Luca's plan for him. I'm gonna let Gnome and Sylph know. What about Salamander? Are you kidding? Salamander always lives in a volcano. I can't go there. I'd have Gnome head there. After I do this, I'm gonna stick with Naruto here. He'll need a friend. Irubity thought for a moment and nodded. I see. I'll watch over him. Who knows? This guy may be like Tobirama. We can only hope. Undine said before heading out. Naruto was asleep for a good few hours. When he woke up, he saw Irubity. I see you're finally awake, she said softly. The boy was obviously scared. I will not harm you. If I were going to hurt you, I'd have left you to drown in that lake. This surprised him. Naruto was not familiar with this kind of voice. Who are you? His voice denoted he was still scared. My name is Irubity. I am a friend of your ancestor. My what? Naruto's fear was almost all gone. Irubity simply chuckled a bit. Let's just say he's family of yours, that has long been dead, any? That got his attention. Family? He didn't know what to make of it. Yes, family. I can sense my friend's blood in you. There's a lot of it too. I'm actually surprised, considering how long ago he died. She looked at Naruto for the first time. Naruto, do you have any family out there? Anyone that takes care of you? He hung his head. She put a slimy hand on his shoulder. Do not worry. I will make sure you have the family you need. Me and a few friends of mine. Why you will? He asked, hope in his eyes. Yes, I will. I sent another friend of mine that lives with me to let the others know. They will stay with you when I cannot. Naruto was on the verge of crying. Do not worry, I will not abandon you to the wolves. I simply cannot be around humans for too long. They do not understand me. It is why I stay in this cave. Humans simply do not see me, just like the villagers do not see you. We are alike, in many ways. I can see what you want. You want to prove yourself. You want to have a family, you, who has nothing to lose. You have everything to prove. I am willing to help you. Train you. Raise you. My friends will help, as well. We are all friends of your ancestor. I only have one condition. Something I want you to do in return. He was curious now. All sense of fear lost, he wanted to know what it is. What is it? He asked, his voice denoting the change. I simply do not wish to be found by other humans. They do not understand me. They never did. The last one to see me, you would know him as the Nidaime Hokage. He kept his word, and even helped protect my home, by building the village nearby. I helped him out, and I wish to help you as well. I still do not wish to be found. That is the only thing I ask of you. You'll leave me alone if I don't. My friends will not, but I might. I don't like the humans out there. Those who do not try to understand. You and I are in the same boat. I want to be with you, but I don't want to be with them. They spit on Tobirama's grave. Either way, you are welcome to stay until you are fully healed. I would prefer that actually. Naruto thought for a moment, and nodded. Okay. I won't tell anyone about you. Irubity had a small smile. Thank you. I'll make sure you have a family. You have a friend in me. Always remember that. For now, rest. I'll find some food for you. She laid him on a bed of her own slime that detached from her body. Remember, I'll be there for you when you need it. She left the cave, after he fell asleep. She managed to find a few good meals, for a human at least, and brought them, before cooking them the way Luca used to. She was long immune to fires, even though she preferred to stay away from them. He woke up, and she handed him the fish she had been cooking. Eat up. My friends are not here yet, which is no surprise, I guess. Do not worry. They will be here soon. Naruto nodded, before eating the food handed to him. He smiled at Irubity, who returned the smile. She began telling him a few things of history. More of her own with Luca. Back then, monsters and humans rarely got along, except in some places. Slimes, like myself, hated humanity because they polluted our homes. I had learned to trust a select few, because they had shown me that not all humans are bad. The first one I had ever trusted. He was related to you, even. His name was Luca. Never learned his surname. Now that was a human that I will never forget. She had a smile, lost in her own memories. She then shook her head. Luca and I weren't always on the best of terms, I'll admit. He changed my views. I've always cared for his descendants, people related to him. Granted, some of them are complete idiots. They disgrace his memory. Those I care nothing for, and would love to see them killed. I would rather you follow in his ideals. They were for peace. I have been watching most of his descendants, for they all lived around here. Can you tell me about Luca Gigi? Of course. Irubity started talking about Luca, what he stood for, what he did, who his greatest friends were, what he had to do to achieve his goals, everything about him. Luca is the greatest man I have ever met. Naruto looked at Irubity with a fire in his eyes that she had not seen in him until that point. I will be just like Luca Gigi. I will get peace to return. I promise you that. Irubity's eyes widened. That voiced the feelings behind it. It's just like she smiled. Luca, he is more than just your host, or your descendant. He is just like you, down to the voice. Her thoughts ended there. Naruto, hold to your word on that. I will be waiting for the time I finally come out of here and not fear for my life. Naruto nodded. They continued to talk about random things, when Undine came back in. There was what seemed to be a small fairy with her. Undine? Sylph? Hey, Irubity. Been a while. The fairy spoke in an overly happy voice. Undine punched the fairy. Undine, where is Gnome? Went to her first. She went to get Salamander. They'll be here shortly, I hope. Undine said, earning a slight nod from Irubity, who turned to a confused Naruto. Naruto, this is Undine. She has been living with me all this time. She gestured to the more solid slime. Then she pointed at Sylph. This is Sylph. While Undine is a spirit of water, Sylph is a spirit of wind. Sylph is more of a fairy, but she is a reliable friend, if not a little annoying, though if what I'm told is correct, then you will get along best with Sylph. Sylph then floated up to Naruto. So you are the one I was told about? She asked. earning a slight nod. Sylph looked into Naruto's eyes, and then cried out in happiness. Yay, natural wind element! Undine and Eribity shook their heads, which was a weird sight. It wasn't long before a rock hit Sylph, stopping her rapid-fire mouth. Oi, what have I told you about talking too much? Another voice unfamiliar to Naruto said. The four of them turned and saw two others. One seemed to be made entirely of fire. The other looked to be a small human, though she had metal armor in dark brown colors. To nod to Sylph was depressed, before Naruto gave her a small hug, which returned her happy mood. Gnome sighed. So, is that the kid? Eribity nodded. The one on fire looked at him. I see a passion in him I have not seen since. I know. Eribity cut her off. He is his descendant, after all. I was surprised that 70% of his blood is that of his. Undine stated. That's got to be wrong. Over 1,000 years, and someone with 70% of his genetics is in them is not possible. Gnome pointed out. Remember, Gnome, Luca was a good indicator that nothing is impossible. It could be genetic. Salamander, the one on fire, spoke up. Naruto looked at Gnome, Salamander, then at Eribity. More friends? She nodded. The one on fire is Salamander. She is the spirit of fire. The smaller one is Gnome, the spirit of earth. Gnome is such a downer. Sylph said, earning a smack from Undine. We only hit you because you're annoying, she said, as Sylph rubbed her head. Gnome just has no qualms doing it because earth and wind have always been opposed. She'd hit you if you said something stupid at that. Gnome shrugged before tossing another rock at Undine. I just like throwing rocks. It's fun for me. There was a small smile on her face. We will stick with you, Sylph said. We can stay with you, no matter where you go. Undine can't maintain her body in really hot places, though. Naruto looked at Eribity with a smile. So I can come back as long as I don't let anyone know where you are, right? She looked at him, and nodded. She looked up. It's getting late. Get some sleep. I'll take you out there later on. Downstream, actually. Undine and the others will keep you company. Right, girls? They all nodded. Sylph cheered as well. All four spirits glowed and then hit Naruto's stomach, causing him to fall over, being caught by Eribity. I probably should have warned you about that. Rest up. I'll make sure you are found in a good place. He nodded weakly and passed out. Forest, near a tower. Naruto was left floating to a bank. It was right next to a large tower, and he was unconscious. It wasn't long before a female in a trench coat, miniskirt, and chain mesh found him nearby. She had purple hair, tied up in a pineapple, her eyes a deep emerald with no pupils. Her eyes widened as she pulled him all the way out of the water, and checked him out. Pulses nominal, no visible injuries, I'd better get him to Horizon. She put him over her shoulder and left in a whirlwind of leaves. Hokage's office. The same female that picked Naruto up appeared in the room, with the old man in Hokage robes inside working on paperwork. Hokage-sama. This earned the old man's attention. Yes, and is that? Yes, Hokage-sama. It is. The old man was right in front of her. Where was he? I found him in the forest of death. He was floating down the river. I was about to blow off some steam. Now, it looks like I don't need to, she replied, as she put him on the couch in the room. What I found strange was that his pulse was fine, his temperature was normal, and no injuries could be seen. It's surprising, to say the least, the old man nodded. It was at this point, Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes. Then, remembering what happened before he met Eribity, he was immediately scared. Then he saw the old man considered a grandfather to him. Gigi? Naruto, thank Kami you're safe. He breathed out. Gigi, why do people hate me? Naruto asked, though he already knew the answer. I'm sorry, Naruto. I can't tell you yet. Don't worry, I will be able to one day. Either you'll be 13, or a genin of this village. I need to make sure you're safe, and if you knew it would only make them hate you more. He said. I'm sorry, but it's for your own safety. Naruto started crying. I see. He never gave me a reason before. But genin? He then heard the voice of Salamander. Naruto, that's the lowest rank of shinobi. Ask him how to become a genin. It's going to be the quicker path. She said. And think what you want to say to me, that way he doesn't know about us. The longer he goes without knowing about us, the better off you'll be. How can I be a genin, Gigi? You'll have to go to the academy. From there, you'll have to graduate, and then you'll be a genin. He answered. If you want I can make it so you enter next year. It'll be early, but it should help you protect yourself. Naruto nodded. Thanks, Gigi. You're the best. He jumped up, and the old man chuckled. Yes, I suppose so. Come. Let's get you some ramen. You look like you need a pick-me-up. The desired response was acquired. Naruto shouted in joy. Ramen. In his mind, Gnome looked at Undine. He's as bad as Tamamo with thin-fried tofu. Something tells me he isn't that bad. Undine replied. A few minutes later, Undine, Gnome and Salamander somehow had a sweat drop. Sylph was just cheering him on. Okay, it isn't as bad as Tamamo. Undine said. You're right. Gnome said. It's worse. Naruto just finished his 7th bowl. Thanks Gigi, come off it guys. It's probably his comfort food. With the life of a Jinchuriki, he'll need something. Besides, he's just like his mother in appetite. Sealed in her too. As Naruto finished his 8th bowl, Sarutobi chuckled. You're quite welcome. I'll do what I can to get you in the academy. Okay. Thanks Gigi, come on. Let's get you home. Naruto and Sarutobi went to Naruto's apartment, and Sarutobi had to restrain himself from killing half the villagers. This place, what happened? He looked at Naruto, who he knew didn't do it. Naruto, do you? He then saw that Naruto was not there. Naruto was still at a somewhat random gate. When Sarutobi and a couple of ANBU found him. Naruto, he snapped out of his trance, and looked at the old man. Gigi? What's wrong? Then he looked at the place in front of him. How did I get here? Where is here? This is the Yandame's old home. Come on. I'll get you a new place. I can't let you live in a place like the apartment if someone is going to do what was done to it. It was destroyed, wasn't it? Naruto asked quietly. Sarutobi was disappointed. Naruto, I want you to be safe. I won't let them harm you if I can help it. Remember that. He nodded in response. Come on. I'll get you a safer house. Gigi, I think it better if I live in the forest until I go to the academy. Is that okay? He looked at the ANBU, who nodded. I'll try to make sure they don't find you. Just make sure you're okay, alright? Naruto nodded, and ran off into the nearby forests. Sarutobi watched him. Cat bear. Make sure no one gets him. Ondoing A rank. Hi. The two mentioned ANBU left in a whirlwind. Forest clearing. Naruto stopped in a clearing a good area wide. He stood at the middle of the clearing, and looked around. This looks like a good spot. Yes it is. Naruto, close your eyes and let me take over for a second. He heard Gnome say. I'll make the house for you. It'll be good for now. Naruto closed his eyes, and when he opened them they were a more brown color. When they were opened, Gnome used Naruto's body to put his hands on the ground. Gnome house revision. The ANBU was a good bit away, thanks to the fact that Sylph got them there. After it was there, Naruto had a single-story earthen cottage standing right in front of him. Naruto's eyes went back to blue, before the ANBU had already arrived. He entered it as the ANBU saw the clearing. Sylph let him know that the masked guys were there. Naruto then heard someone knock on the door. Masked guys. Naruto nodded and opened the door. Gigi, want you to watch me? The ANBU were surprised, but it didn't show. They nodded and vanished. Naruto then closed the door and started looking around the place. It had a single bed, a small one, the basic necessities, and a small table, a few chairs, even a small fireplace. Thanks Gnome. No problem. Now come on. Undine has got a few lessons for you. She'll be first, instead of Sylph. Gnome replied. Huh? Why? Naruto asked them as all four of them appeared in his vision. Like it or not, Undine has a few skills you'll need, Sylph admitted. You may be a natural wind element, meaning me, but that just means skills I know will be a lot easier to learn. Undine has the things you'll need to know first. Annoying you may be, at least you know when something's needed. Undine commented. Doesn't mean I like it though. Sylph crossed her arms. Naruto chuckled at that. Okay. Where do I start? He asked aloud. Talk in your mind. Undine said. Remember those ANBU are still out there. Naruto was looking around. I know, but that is something that they would think I'm just talking to myself, and not anyone else. He saw Undine blink at that. You know, he's got a point. Salamander voiced. That saying is always used when at a new place, or something new is learned. People can't always tell the difference. Undine then told Naruto to sit down, close his eyes and find the flow around him. Sylph's comments did not make it easy. Gnome just smacked her again. Gnome, shut up. He's trying to get the serene mind. Gnome spoke, but he's of the wind. Not water. Salamander hit her next. Sylph, he needs this the most. The serene mind helps all shinobi. They never take it all the way, and only half-ass the state. Undine has to teach him how to access the full serene mind. It's the most important part of what we can teach a shinobi. We'll also be able to train him to use a sword, and teach him the techniques that Luca used. He'll need this the most. Ah, Naruto chuckled, and was slapped by Undine. Focus on the flow. Naruto stopped chuckling. This continued on for 6 months. On the 3rd month, Naruto had found his chakra instead, and told Undine what it felt like. Salamander heard this, while staying next to the lit fire. Looks like he found his chakra, Undine. This earned all of their attention. The fact was that the ANBU were gone for a while. Naruto was still safe, because only the ANBU had come into the clearing. For some reason, Jounin could never find it, either could most Chunin, Genin, and even civilians. Heck, only the ones with training in the wind element could find it, surprisingly. Sarutobi couldn't even find it with his crystal ball. No one knew why, except Sylph, who set up the barrier in the first place. Civilians could never find the place, because it has an unnoticeable barrier that makes sure that only those that can manipulate wind and has training to do so can enter the clearing. Gnome and Sylph him how to hunt for his own food, and what to do with them. Salamander had taught him how to control his chakra after it was pointed out, but still said the serene mind, which he could never truly get in 6 months, would help immensely. With the 4 elemental spirits at his sides, his vocabulary increased by a major level. He knew how to hunt. Gnome taught him a few things about gardening, as well. Being the earth spirit, she knew a thing or 3 about what went into her element. The ANBU stopped coming around after the 2nd month ended, seeing that he was safe. It was on this 6th month that someone had come into the clearing. Naruto had long recognized the signature. It was the cat ANBU that always helped him. The spirits all went into his mind, and he walked to the door as she knocked on it. He opened it and saw him. Gigi wants to see me? The ANBU nodded. Okay. Let's go. He was happy at the moment. Cat put a hand on his shoulder, and they vanished in a Shunshin, Hokage's office. Cat and Naruto showed up in the center of the room. Naruto. Good to see you in one piece. Naruto nodded. He had long since learned why he was hated, but kept it a secret. So, what's up, Gigi? Academy got a spot open early? Sarutobi shook his head. His ANBU had stopped watching over him 4 months ago, since he had found that none of the civilians could find the clearing. The fact of the matter was, he couldn't even find the clearing with his crystal ball. That in itself was a shocker. Naruto, I wanted to let you know I was going to another village. I was wondering if you'd like to come along? Naruto took a thoughtful pose, crossing his arms and scrunching up his face. He came up with his face while talking to the spirits. Undine, you think it would be a good idea to put the training on hold and go with him? I don't think it's a good idea to skip the training. Undine said. Come on. You never let him have any fun. Let him relax and unwind. Sylph complained. He'll probably get it faster if he does. Besides, he'll have to learn what the world outside is like, anyway. This is a good reference for later on. Sylph's got a point. Salamander commented. I say go for it. Maybe we can run into one of the other Heavenly Knights. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm with Sylph here. Gnome commented. And when that happens, you know that it's the best choice. Luca told them. They all heard Undine sigh. Fine. But we're starting it back up the moment we get back. This earned a loud cheer from Sylph. Road trip. Naruto held back the chuckle. Count me in, Gigi. Sarutobi nodded. Good. I see you're still wearing those furs that you skin off of deer that enter the area. How did you even learn to do that? Naruto blinked in confusion. I didn't, Naruto. I just don't think when it happens. You know, play it by ear? He continued. Sarutobi blinked. Okay, think it'll handle the trip? It should. Naruto said. I mean, they work so far. Well then, we leave tomorrow. The next day, Naruto was hiding near the gates as the Hokage walked up to them. Cat, where is he? He said he would meet us here. The ANB replied, before Naruto came out of the nearby bushes. Hey Gigi. Time to go? He asked, excited. Ah, Naruto. You made it. He smiled. Come. Let us get going. They all walked out of the gates, Naruto and Sarutobi just walking. Over this time, Naruto just fired question after question, much like Sylph would. Sarutobi would just answer them, as they held nothing secret, mainly the lands, where things were, and what people would do. On the second day, Naruto asked a question as they were stopping for the day. Gigi, Naruto, you've asked a lot of questions so far. Perhaps you should ask fewer questions on this trip. I know, but this one has me more confused than the rest. Naruto said, his voice was much lower than before. This was cause for some worry on Sarutobi's part. Naruto, what's wrong? What's a Heavenly Knight? That was the all-important question that Naruto had wanted to ask. Sure, Sylph had told him all about them, but he hadn't seen Irubity since she saved him that day. Naruto, where did you hear that? There are no records of them, whatsoever. No one knows what they are, or even if they truly exist. Sarutobi said. A few nights before we left, I had a strange dream. He said. This was even more worrying for Sarutobi. Even the spirits were confused. What dream? Undine asked. I'll tell you at the same time I tell Gigi. Naruto replied. Sarutobi echoed Undine's question. Well, in it, I was a kid named Luca, trying to bring, I think it was called coexistence. I don't know. I was trying to bring humans and monsters together, and some guys calling themselves the 4 Heavenly Knights were in my way. Something about bringing terror to humans, or something. Never saw them, but I woke up after finding a spring which sucked me in. I found myself in my bed, as if nothing had changed. I was wondering what these Heavenly Knights were. Sarutobi sighed. At least it wasn't needing the Kyuubi. He then went into the story of the mighty hero, whose name had been forgotten. He had battled the 4 Heavenly Knights, gained their powers, and fought the legendary Monster Lord. The names have been lost to time, but it is said that all of them are dead, or simply hiding. The Heavenly Knights were seen as evil, but some saw their actions as good for the world. I'm sorry, but that's all that I know. It's an age-old legend. I can barely remember it myself. Sounds like Luca's trip in the Noah region, mostly. Gnome said. The spring was Undine's home at the time. Is it written down anywhere? Naruto asked. To my knowledge, no. But there probably is one written version somewhere. Sarutobi admitted. Get some rest, Naruto. We move out into the desert soon, and you'll need it. Desert, huh? Looks like it's my kind of place. Salamander said. I'll be silent until night, I hope you know that. Undine pointed out. I know, Undine. Besides, I've got most of my questions answered now. And Sal? Any way to give me some resistance to high temperatures? Been working on it all this time. You can handle the desert heat a lot better than most your age. Naruto mentally nodded and sat down as if he were training for the serene mind, his back to a tree. His breathing evened out, and before he fell asleep he felt the flow. Then he lost all sense of anything and everything. Undine, surprised at the result, found that the first time he got into the right state he was almost asleep. The next morning, they managed to hit the sands of Wind Country. Naruto was fine, which was surprising to Sarutobi and the ANBU. It wasn't long into the desert that a sandstorm was approaching. It was a surprise because it appeared out of nowhere. Naruto was instantly on guard. He was more in tune with wind than most, and Sylph only added to that. His eyes narrowed at the sandstorm. Naruto, we have to Naruto, Sarutobi said, stopping to see Naruto glaring at the storm. Naruto, that storm is not natural, he said, his voice even and calm. Something that surprised Sarutobi was the fact that he wasn't running from it. Not natural? Sarutobi looked at the ANBU. Cat, I'm not sensing any chakra usage in the area. Sylph then spoke. I know who it is. Didn't think she'd be in this area though. Sylph? Yup. It's Alma. Naruto's eyes widened. Any chance she'd leave us be? Not likely. Unless Naruto, have the Hokage use henge on you. I'm sending you what you need to look like. It may get her to stop the sandstorm. Luca said. Gigi, can you use a henge on me? I've got something in mind, but if that's not natural someone's coming to harm us. If I'm right, the form may be able to stop it. Naruto retorted. Sarutobi was surprised, but did it anyway. Naruto went from blonde hair, blue eyes, to light blue hair and dark blue eyes. He grew to a full 6 feet 3 inches tall, and had what seemed to be a purple double helix sword. Luca interfered, and made it an actual transformation. He had light armor on his torso, mainly leather. As the sandstorm got closer, it started to thin out. When it was entirely thinned out, there was a female with dark purple hair, a skimpy outfit. There was also bat wings coming from the back. Yushi pointed at Naruto. You look like an old friend of mine. He died a long time ago, though. What's your name? Her voice was slightly seductive, but held no feeling other than curiosity. Naruto couldn't answer. This is wait, you're in an illusion, she said. Why are you? Her eyes then widened. Sylph? Where are you? She looked around. Naruto then released the henge on his own. Sylph? Sylph channeled her power through Naruto, earning Alma's attention once more. Why do you carry Sylph's power? I don't know, he replied. What are you? Oh, where are my manners? The girl said. My name is Alma, and why are you here? I live around here. Have been for years. And the sandstorm? Naruto asked. I could tell it wasn't natural the moment I laid eyes on it. Alma looked at Naruto. You've been getting training from Sylph, haven't you? Naruto shook his head. Sylph's power waned out. The winds are much happier with you than the last one I know had Sylph with them. She looked lost in memories. Sadly, his family didn't take up his values. Part of it, at least. They were too arrogant. Old Luca would be ashamed of his family doing that. This earned Naruto's and Sarutobi's attention. Naruto, you do realize we're on a tight schedule, right? We have to get going. As much as I want to know your connection to this Luca, such as that dream you had, this earned Alma's attention. Dreaming about Luca? She was curious. He was alive a long time ago. Long since dead. Mind if I come with? Maybe I can find out myself. Luca was an old friend of mine. Maybe I can fill in a few holes. Sarutobi was wary, but Naruto nodded with a smile. Sure. Maybe you can tell me what those Heavenly Knights were. Oh, you want to know about the old group before we went into hiding years ago, any? She said. I guess I can tell you about us. They started to walk, and Naruto walked alongside Alma, Sarutobi keeping a careful eye on Alma as the two talked. Naruto had no qualms asking weird questions about places he had never heard of. Alma had been talking all about it, giving details that would never be known, as if she were there. The Heavenly Knights had gone into hiding long ago. Granbiria had become a traveler, though she normally stuck to Earth Country. She was the honorable warrior of the group. Tamamo hid herself in the mountains to the northeast. Sarutobi then knew she was in Lightning Country. Tamamo and the one known as the Kyubi no Yoko share a lot of physical traits. But that's really where the similarities ended. Tamamo, though reckless at times, was really kind-hearted. She preferred coexistence long before Luca came along. Apparently, Kumobikyu was built near where Yamatai village was. Urobity went into her home, which was Undine's spring. All I know is the spring is somewhere in Fire Country. Then there's me. I stick to the deserts. Wide open spaces, and no one to hurt in the crossfire. Here a wind element such as myself can do a lot without having to worry. I like it here. Excuse me? Sarutobi interrupted. You say this Undine's spring is somewhere in fire country? Uh-huh. She replied. Undine is a spirit of water. Her very presence can keep a lake pure. I haven't seen her in a while, because she doesn't like the desert. Comes with being a water spirit, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if Arubadi and Undine were together. She looked at Naruto. Sylph is the spirit of wind. For her to stick with you, you must have an unnaturally high wind alignment. I could help, but I don't do well in large groups of humans anymore. Naruto nodded sadly. What about the other spirits? I mean, aren't there 4? Undine is the spirit of water. Salamander is the spirit of fire. Last I checked she stayed in a volcano on a place known as Whirlpool Island. She watched over one of the clans from Luca's heirs. The clan was known as the Uzumaki clan. This was news to Sarutobi. Uzumaki clan? Naruto asked. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Alma giggled and flicked his nose. You'd have to go to Salamander's home to see for sure, Naruto. Salamander knows the Uzumaki clan blood inside and out. She'll know and be able to tell you for sure. Sal, you are. Your mother's side, I'll admit. Luca admitted. I see. Gigi, you were an orphan, but there was a Kushina Uzumaki who died during the Kyuubi attack. The reason was unknown, but the only thing we found was her head. Her body was never recovered. Sarutobi stated. If that was your mother, it's anyone's guess. She was one of the last survivors of the Uzumaki clan. You were given her name at random though. I couldn't tell you for sure. Naruto nodded, getting the information for later. Thanks, Gigi. At least now I have an idea of my mother. Alma giggled. You know, there are 3 known clans descended from Luca. It was his descendants that started the clans. Which clans? Naruto asked. Well, from what I know, the Senju and Uchiha clans are from the younger 2 sons of the same one. The one older than them both went separate from the 2 and started the Uzumaki clan. Luca may have had 3 children, but only 2 started clans. It wasn't until a few centuries later that the 3 clans were made. Everyone called the father of all 3 clans the Rokudo Sennin. I heard tell that there was another clan, that was much smaller in number than the other 3. They had the majority of Luca's abilities, but remained widely unknown. I know them personally. When I went into hiding, they were near the area. I stayed with them as a guardian of sorts. Well, I did until a good 30 years ago. They were mostly wiped out. I found out a few years ago in the major war that broke out that one of them survived. His name was Minato Namikaze. Sarutobi's eyes widened. Minato was the last of a clan. Alma looked at him. You knew him personally? He was my successor before he died, who went out fighting the Kyuubi no Yoko. Sarutobi nodded. No surprise. His family had all of Luca's greatest traits. Even the holy energy he used. This was long before chakra was even discovered. Back then, the only way to use the elements was to have a spirit like Naruto here does, or not human, at least, not entirely human. Whether monster or angel, you had to have the blood of one of them if you didn't have a spirit, and even then, only females had true monster blood until Luca. Luca's children were a combination of monster, angel and human. He had angel blood himself. It's why he could use his preferred weapon, Angel Halo. Even I don't know where it is, so don't ask. No one does. He hid it somewhere before he died. Even us Heavenly Knights don't know where it is. Sarutobi then saw a plateau, and the fact that it was almost dusk. Perhaps we can stay on that rock formation, he said. It is getting late, and Naruto will need to rest up. He is young. Young or not, he's got the stamina to do what needs to be done. I can guarantee you that much. Alma said. They went to it and set up. Naruto getting a strange feeling. Chapter 2. Naruto, Sarutobi and Alma were sleeping in a cave. At least they should have been. Naruto was unable to sleep. He walked outside. Alma noticed this and went out to listen to him. Alma Gigi doesn't know this, and I can tell that both he and the ANBU are sleeping, so I can really speak my mind now. He sighed. Something wrong, Naruto-chan? She asked, walking next to the edge he was next to. Yes, something nearby is calling me. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it's out there, and it wants me. He said. I don't know if I should go after it, or if I should stay with Gigi. We're near an old village in the Sabesa region. I forget its name. It isn't a place, I think. More like an object that's calling to me. Alma looked at him. That's surprising. Granbiria once told me the same thing before she had to switch out her old cleaver for the one she uses today. The one she has now is sentient. Maybe a sentient sword is nearby and wants you. Maybe. Naruto admitted. He checked the others and sighed. I don't just have Sylph with me. I've got all 4 that stuck with Luca. This absolutely cannot be let out. You already let him know about Sylph, which I find myself taking traits from easily. First time we met, Sylph practically screamed in joy that I was a natural wind element. No surprise there, I guess. Which one are you working with first? Undine. Still trying to get the serene mind state without using her powers. It's not easy. At least, not to the level she wants. I see. I was told it took Luca a good amount of time to be able to use that state in a weakened version. He had no true alignment. I think it comes with him being part angel, Alma admitted. An ANB woke up, but stayed still. The state of serene mind is not easy to accomplish, but all warriors do so after some time. The ninja of today use a much more simplified version, but it is not to the same effectiveness, or even to the same level. What they really do is wait for a disturbance, instead of following the flow. Oddly enough, those with wind chakra have the easiest time to learn that method. Want some advice? Please. Well, the flow is hard to describe. I don't know if you've felt your own chakra, so that's not exactly a good method to find out. But it's a good example. Alma put a hand on the ground next to her. Everything has an energy flow. The state of serene mind is not an easy thing to accomplish because of the nature of the flow. The flow is not just water, or even wind. The flow is in everything. It is everywhere. Even chakra sensors aren't good enough to feel the flow without knowing about it. The flow is like the chakra of the planet, I guess. Naruto looked at her. So, here's an example. Take a puddle. When you throw in a pebble, what happens to the puddle? It moves for the pebble? Close. Alma replied. In this case, the puddle is the flow. The pebble is someone moving inside the flow. By listening to the flow, you are listening to what the puddle is doing, the movements of the pebble, the edges of the puddle, and even what it will do. Serene mind will put you as part of the flow. With it, you won't need to see anything physically. The flow will guide you. She got up, and walked a bit away before facing him. Get up. Try to access the flow. I can't. I've been trying for 6 months, and I've had no luck. Naruto said. Wind elements learn best by doing. A small explanation followed by real-time application. That is how you will learn to access it. She pulled out a blindfold and tossed it to him. Put that around your eyes. It will help you. If you don't find the flow, you'll end up hurting badly. He put it on, and made sure he can't see. Clear your mind. And wait. Naruto did that, like he was trained to. Undine approved, but he hadn't achieved full serene mind. Alma charged and landed at smack on Naruto. It was a lot lighter than it should have been, but he moved slightly before she could hit. Good. You saw it coming. Now dodge it. She said. He had managed to lessen each of the following 15 blows, but none of them were dodged. You aren't dodging properly. She went for another one, this time though Sylph lent him some extra speed. He then dodged it. Barely, but he did. You used Sylph's power to dodge that, she pointed out. Neither one had bothered to acknowledge the ANB watching them both. You're moving too fast. I can't dodge in time. The best I can do is lessen each blow, and here I thought Sylph had helped you train your speed. Oh well. I'll tone down the speed a bit more. She did, and the ANBU saw the attack coming. This time, Naruto managed to dodge it, again by the same margin. Good. You're listening to the flow. Now let's see you dodge this. Alma then threw an open palm towards him. Naruto immediately knew what was coming and put up his hands to split the wind blast in half. I must say, you've got a very high control over wind to do that. I have no training in wind. Naruto replied. No training, Alma thought for a moment. Take off the blindfold. You've got the basics of serene mind. Sensing the movements in the flow. To master it, you'll need to understand the 4 elements in their entirety. You don't have to be able to use them. I mean, take Granbiria for example. She only uses fire, and can't even draw on water. And yet she attained the highest level of serene mind possible by the time she was 5 years old. Naruto had taken off the blindfold and handed it back to her. It seems you can only act on the flow when you can't see physically. Your mind's eye sees the flow. You need to be able to combine the 2 visions in order to master it. I'll explain it in more detail tomorrow night. Hopefully it's good enough. Alma said. Now get some rest. You'll need it for traveling. She smiled at him, which he returned. She only acknowledged the ANBU after he was finally asleep. So, I take it you didn't like the training session much? It was more of a comment than a statement. I am not fond of it, no. Naruto has the strength of an old friend of mine. Luca's soul seems to burn in him, now. If the other knights knew of him, they'll want to train him themselves, Alma pointed out. If they meet him, they'll want to talk to him. I'm the only one in the area though. He is Konohagaku's responsibility, not yours. The ANBU stated. Then know this. One day, he'll need proper training in Sylph's abilities. I can sense he is a Jinchuriki, as well. The ANBU tensed. I have nothing against Jinchuriki, until they go on murdering rampages. Then I have a problem, and only then. He has a strong will. And how do you know he won't? Because I can sense Luca's blood in him. It's in the highest quantity I've seen in a long time. He'll need to learn to control. He's also got the will Luca had. I believe you would call it the will of fire. His will is actually, I think it's higher than even Luca's was. He has a will that will not be deterred by even a goddess. Luca's wouldn't either. I should know. I helped him fight one. The legend of the fall of Ilias? Some points are embellished, I'll admit. For example, they say the hero is a grown man. That's wrong. Luca was nowhere near a man in form. Alma pointed out. Luca is the hero in the legend. The Rokudo Sennin was a descendant. I have met the founders of the Uchiha, Senju and Uzumaki clans. Uzumaki was the oldest, Senju the middle, Uchiha the youngest. If Naruto is a true Uzumaki clan member, he would effectively be able to override most of the points that the Uchiha and Senju clans bring to the table. If you find a Namikaze, and it is not Naruto, then they would be able to override even his decision, if he were an Uzumaki. Luca's eldest son formed the Namikaze clan, and kept to themselves all this time. They were actually the best in wind manipulation. Doesn't matter where you were, they had retained Sylph's power from Luca, along with the holy energy in him. I may not be able to sense holy energy. If someone has Angel Halo, and can use it, then they are of the Namikaze clan. But since even I don't know where it is, I can't prove it. Only a Namikaze would be able to use it these days. Alma sighed as she sat down. Luca was barely 8 years old when he started his journey. He was 10 years old when Ilias was taken down, the home of Minato Namikaze and his clan. Where is it? It's not far from here. But for now, it's a ruin that is meant to stay abandoned. You understand? Alma tried to sleep sitting down. She smiled a bit. But Naruto has a great destiny. I can feel it. Make sure he is trained well in all aspects. He'll need it. Fuinjutsu will help especially. She then fell asleep. The ANBU filed it away for later use. The next afternoon, Sarutobi, Naruto and Alma saw the village of Sunagakure. Alma had changed her form slightly. Mainly hiding her wings and non-human traits. If you're going in there, I might as well keep Naruto company while you do your business, Sarutobi-san. Sarutobi nodded at that. Make sure he doesn't die. If he does, I'm blaming you, and you'd have every right to. As they entered the village, Alma in her human disguise went alongside Naruto. They went into a musical instrument shop. Alma? Why are we here? Alma was looking at a pretty expensive ocarina. Naruto, it would be very helpful if you learned to play a woodwind instrument. There are times I feel down, and I play mine. She pulled out her flute. Mine is the flute. A natural wind such as yourself will enjoy playing them in your spare time. It also cuts down on the possible trouble you'll get into. Naruto looked around. What classifies as a woodwind? She led him to a few of them. This is a flute, as you can see. They're a lot more common these days. I don't think you'll be much of a flute player, to be honest. Naruto then saw something else. It was an old-fashioned ocarina. It was forest green in color. It was different from the rest. What is this one? Alma looked at it. An ocarina, a forest one at that. She looked at Naruto. Naruto, those that would choose an ocarina would end up being much more like a prankster if they got bored and had nothing else. He looked at her, and saw her smile. That is much more like you. A forest ocarina, on the other hand, are chosen by pranksters and trappers. You'll really benefit from Fuinjutsu with this as your choice. A worker came up to them. Can I help you with something? Alma looked at him. Yes, Seben. How much is this ocarina? She gestured to the forest ocarina Naruto pointed out. That one? He was surprised. You know, most seem to avoid that ocarina like the plaque. No one could ever find out why though, as even the most battle-hardened shinobi avoid even looking at it. Honestly, it even gives me the creeps. Naruto felt a connection to it. The moment it was put in his hands he felt it. His hair whipped around for a few seconds as he held it. He smiled. It's perfect. Alma nodded. We'll buy it. This way please. They went to the register, where someone came up to them. Seben, are you really selling that ocarina, boss? He looked at the newcomer. Kid, that ocarina is dangerous. The last one to have it committed suicide. You know what that means? Naruto nodded. And you still want it? Yes, sir. He replied. The man then went from a frown to a smile. Then take it, free of charge. Naruto was surprised. What? Free? But, listen kid, that thing has been bad for business. I'd be happy to part with it for nothing if I can get customers again. He said. Please, just take it. Naruto looked at the ocarina, and nodded. Okay. I'll make sure to learn how to play it better than anyone else. Thanks kid. The man said. Naruto and Alma walked out, before making their way to a park. They found someone being harassed, which Naruto noticed. But what really got him was what the kids were saying. He then went in, and the one they were bullying vanished from their sight. It left the confused. You okay? They turned to find Naruto holding a reed head, as if he had just gotten out of there. The redhead nodded. His eyes were a deep brown, his hair red. Naruto then sent a chilling glare at the kids, who stiffened. Get lost, idiots. His voice denoted a lot of danger. The kids did just that, and ran in fear. Naruto then put the redhead down. Sorry, I couldn't just let them hurt you like they were. I'm okay, they can't seem to hurt me. The boy said. Say, what's your name? Naruto asked. Jigara. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's old foxy smile plastered on his face got a small one on Gaara's. Hey, you want to play? I'm only in town for a while. Might as well have a friend for now, any? But I'm a monster. Alma then sensed it, and put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. It seems like he's got Shikaku in him. Why don't you play with him? He needs a friend. She said, earning a nod. He already learned the truth of the Kyuubi from Luca. Naruto and Gaara started playing a few games with each other, mainly catch with a ball that Naruto produced from actually, not even Alma knew where he got it. Alma simply watched the two, and made sure that Naruto was safe. He was laughing and having fun with Gaara until the Konoha ANBU cat entered the area, seeing Naruto and Gaara playing, Alma watching. Alma, the talks with Hokage-sama and Kazekage-sama are finished, we will be leaving in the morning. Alma nodded. Don't worry about us. I'll find the Hokage and get him to the hotel you are staying at tonight. I'll be sticking with Naruto until you guys start to leave the desert, if that's fine with the Hokage. You will have to ask Hokage-sama. The ANBU replied. Alma nodded. The ANBU then watched over Naruto next to Alma. Who's he playing with? His name is Gaara. Apparently, he's the Jinchuriki of Shikaku. He needed a friend, and someone to play with. They're having a good time, as you can see. Alma explained. I take it Naruto doesn't have many friends his own age, does he? No, he doesn't. Naruto is pretty much hated by everyone in Konoha. Cat replied. Then Alma, Cat and Naruto tensed. Naruto then pushed Gaara to the side, knowing the attack was meant for him, and jumped away quickly. 6 kunai hit the ground where they were. Demon, time to die. Alma was enraged, and vanished from her spot. The assailant suddenly doubled over and coughed up blood. Alma had yet to appear, but there were small cuts appearing on the assailant all over. The only one that even had a clue as to what was going on was Naruto. He watched Alma flicker in and out of view, but every time she did she was becoming the wind and striking the assailant, before appearing right in front of Naruto and Gaara. Gaara, I believe this one wants you. Gaara nodded, more in fear than anything else. Naruto hugged him to comfort him, before glaring at the assailant who couldn't even move, since he had several tendons and nerves cut. He wouldn't die, but he also won't be able to move or strike anyone. Her glare was cold. You, who attacked 2 children, are more a monster than even the Bijou. Her voice was cold. Gaara, let's get you home. Naruto, you're coming with. Cat-san, I will meet you at the hotel with Naruto soon. Cat nodded and shunshuned out. Alma ushered Naruto and Gaara away from the assailant. They reached the Kazekage's house, and Gaara went inside. Hope to see you tomorrow? We leave tomorrow, Gaara. Alma said. Naruto then got an idea. If you're ever in Konohagakure, look me up. We'll have some fun. Okay. I'll do that. Naruto and Alma walked to the hotel Sarutobi was at, and went in. We're the Hokage's tag-alongs. Alma stated, getting the room number. The two of them walked up and entered the right room. I heard some trouble happened while you were with Naruto. Sarutobi said. Unfortunately. They were after his playmate. Alma admitted. Sarutobi nodded. I got the story from Cat. I'm glad you defended them both. And Naruto. He looked at him. How did you know the attack was coming? Well, I felt like someone was gonna harm us, but it was a weak feeling. I figured that it was for Gaara and pushed him out of the way before jumping away myself. Good thing too. He was after Gaara's life, not mine. I managed to protect them both. Luca would have done the same thing. He won't die, but he won't be able to move for a while. A long while. For hurting a Konohagakure delegate, Suna would be blamed. I believe that would normally be cause for war? That it would. Sarutobi commented. You did good. No deaths, only disabling strikes, because a Konoha delegate would be harmed in the process. If he had hurt Naruto, then the talks would prove to be more harm than good. Alma nodded. Get some rest. I know that someone is gonna throw a fit at the guy's condition. If they try to blame you or any of you guys, I will provide the reason for injury. By attacking someone from Konoha, you would risk war. 1 drop of blood from Naruto, and war could be claimed, or compensation could be asked for. Sarutobi nodded, knowing the situation from a few years beforehand. Yes, we could. I'm willing to let it go, unless someone makes a big deal out of it. Alma smiled at Naruto. You acted fast enough to make sure that he didn't get hurt. I'm proud of you. I wouldn't let him hurt a friend. Naruto defended. Gaara and I are good friends. Sarutobi chuckled a bit. I see. Perhaps you would come back to see him if you had the chance? Naruto nodded happily. Alma then cleared her throat. Perhaps we should start working on your playing skills before bed? She suggested, earning a nod from Naruto, who took out the ocarina, earning surprise from Sarutobi. We got it from a local store. We paid for it. Huh? The guy said it was free. Naruto was confused slightly. Oh. I put the money in the register without being noticed. You know how fast I can get. She smiled at him before pulling out her own flute. Being as I don't use sheet music, you'll be learning the way I did. Notes to the fingers. And so the lesson began. Apparently, Asuna Anbu, otherwise known as Dust, entered the room, saying that someone had complained that a Konoha delegate attacked a member of their village. Sarutobi and Cat went to see what went on, and gave their side of the story. Meanwhile, Alma continued to teach Naruto the notes. And then a few songs she knew calmed down her own urges. Sarutobi and Cat entered the room once more, and sighed. We were hoping to avoid that. Sarutobi said. Did you ask for compensation? Alma inquired. Sarutobi pulled out a scroll. This is what we got. It all goes to Naruto, who could have been killed by the attack. It has a good amount of money, and several of Suna's wind jutsu. I'll be keeping this a secret from our own council, as well. Naruto will hang on to it. He handed it to Naruto. These are for your use later on. Make sure no one finds them. Naruto nodded and hid it on his body. Hey Gigi? Wanna listen to something? Sarutobi chuckled. Sure. Perhaps you can lighten the mood. Naruto started to play his ocarina. The tune was slightly happy, yet held an undercurrent of pain. The tune went on for a while. Alma was the only one that noticed where the tune came from, because she had not taught it to him. When Naruto had finished, he was slightly out of breath. Sorry, I guess I still need to work on breathing. You'll only get better with practice. Alma told him. Remember, practice playing your ocarina. It will help. They slept that night, and left in the morning. Gaara was with the Kazekage to see them off. I apologize for the inconvenience to your young companion, the Kazekage said. I was willing to let it go to begin with, Kazekage-dano. Sarutobi admitted. It was your council that wanted it dealt with. Yes, I hope what we gave was enough. Yes, it was indeed. Sarutobi admitted. We should get going. Naruto looked at Gaara with a smile, which Gaara returned. They then walked off and left eyesight of Sunagakure. That day, Naruto puffed a few tunes out, Alma guiding him, with a few of her own. It was late afternoon when he felt it. Something nearby calling to him. He turned his head, stopping his tune. It's close. Alma noticed this. You feel it again? Naruto did not answer. Instead, he just ran off. Naruto! Alma and Sarutobi ran after him. Alma didn't stop him, however. She wanted to know what it was that was calling him. His body was soon lit on fire, as he jumped up and hit the ground. When he did, he went through. Alma was surprised, not knowing what was going on. Alma, what the hell is here that he would know about? I don't know. There are no ruins around this point. Nothing to indicate something of value here. Alma pointed out. But something was calling him here on the way to Suna. Maybe that's what this is. Thing is, I have no clue what it is. She went into the same point that Naruto did, Sarutobi following close behind. When they reached the end of a tunnel, they saw Naruto standing in front of a pedestal with a sword all too familiar to Alma. This was proven by the look of shock, surprise and awe in her eyes. No way, she breathed. Naruto ignored them and grabbed the sword and pulled it out of the stone it was stabbed in. It was a simple matter, but released a shockwave, showing Luca's grown form. Naruto held the sword in his hand. It was a purple flat double helix blade. That sword, you know it? Sarutobi asked. I'd be an idiot not to. That is Angel Halo. Luca's preferred weapon. Able to seal any monster or demon. It also rids the wielder of any impurities in them. In the hands of a Jinchuriki, or so it is believed, the bijou will either die, or be purified to be nothing more than a tame house pet. A much older house pet, but a house pet nonetheless. Looks like Naruto is the next holder. The last one to wield Angel Halo was Luca. Alma explained. It was already hidden in the time of the Rokudo Sennin. If it wasn't, he wouldn't have become a Jinchuriki, and it was right here under our noses? I'm as surprised as you are. Alma admitted. All this time, it was right under my nose, but I could never find it, nor did I even know it was here. Naruto cannot be known to have it. I know he is a Jinchuriki. If your council found out he had it, they'll try to take it. Though they can try, they'll fail and kill themselves. Only one with angel blood in them can even hold it, much less use it properly. The angel blood was not found in the Uzumaki, Senju or even Uchiha. The only ones to have it that is a descendant of Luca's. Her eyes widened in realization. He's a Namikaze. Alma, I should have seen it before. He'd be a shoo-in for Minato when he was still young and with his clan. Naruto then looked at them in confusion, and the sword in his hand. Gigi? This sword is what is it? Naruto, that sword is Angel Halo. Luca's preferred weapon. I suggest you learn to use a broadsword. It will help you learn to wield that sword. Naruto looked confused. Alma looked at Sarutobi. Learning to use a broadsword will help him immensely. They have the same weight and balance ratio, along with handling the same way. When Luca couldn't use Angel Halo, he used a standard steel broadsword. He still could use all of his favorite techniques, but Angel Halo was still his preferred weapon. Well, if that's a broadsword, it will be much harder to make. You probably know this, but we don't use swords of that shape or nature these days. Alma hummed before asking for a piece of paper and ink. She drew up the schematics for a standard broadsword. This is a standard broadsword. If you can have it made of the strongest chakra-conducing metal, make sure it is given to him, and no one else. Angel Halo is a good sword to use against those who are corrupt, inherently evil, decidedly evil. But this is not to the mind of the wielder, or the human race that decides what is best. It is the sword itself that decides. An out-of-control demon? Sealed. If the sword does not deem a reason to seal, it will kill. Alma explained. The only one I know could teach him to use a broadsword is Granberria, but I couldn't tell you where she is. She wanders all the time. Anyone else you'd either find in Kumo or Kiri. Granberria has fought many from both. Neither provides a good enough challenge. May I at least ask that you don't let Granburia know about me? Naruto asked. At least until I can learn to use it. Then, if we cross beforehand, I'll take any fall for it. I want my existence to be more of a surprise. Sure thing. Anything to annoy old Granny. Alma smiled like a prankster would. Naruto returned the smile with a fox grin of his own. Let's take her by surprise. Sylph can teach me Luca's style, right? If she paid attention, I don't see why not. Alma answered. Naruto looked to his side. Sylph? Sure I can. I know his style better than the others. I know all his moves, how they're done, how he does them, and when you can use them too. Sylph answered. Naruto nodded. Okay. I'll be counting on you. You still need to get the Serene Mind mastered. Undine spoke. I know I do, but still, I've seen your progress with Serene Mind, Naruto. Learning to play the ocarina will help. Believe me. Serene Mind is much easier to use when you're at peace with yourself. It's why it takes so long to master. Alma explained. Remember, the flow is everywhere. The flow will tell you where everything is, where they will strike, and how they will hit. Remember, understanding brings more than peace. Naruto nodded. And they went outside, following Alma's lead. Kat was surprised when they came out, Naruto holding a strange sword. Hokage-sama, we are fine. Come. We should continue. And do not ask about the sword. It is the reason Naruto ran off. They moved at a pace slightly above civilian. Naruto was playing his ocarina once more, Alma playing her flute in tune with him. They kept going through the night that time, Naruto not completely tired. It wasn't until almost midnight that Naruto got tired, and was about to collapse on his feet. They had reached the forest at that point. Sylph put up a barrier around their campsite, and Naruto passed out quickly. He was asleep before he hit the ground. Alma bid them farewell. Naruto was fine in the morning, but they took it slow. Mainly so he can keep up. He ignored the others most of the time, favoring his ocarina. Sarutobi then signaled the ANBU to use a blunted shuriken on Naruto. The ANBU nodded slightly, and pulled one out, before tossing it at Naruto, who tilted his head slightly, having it miss. He didn't miss a single note, nor did he pause in his playing. Sarutobi smiled as he thought. Alma was right. He dodged it right when he had to, not before or after. That's good. Really good. I'm not sure if that's the Serene Mind she mentioned, but that is definitely useful. It's effectively Naruto's in the village, as shinobi don't use it. A single lapse in concentration would mean certain death, but he's not even paying attention to us. His eyes are closed, he's playing music, which is good, and he still dodged when he had to. Naruto then stopped the tune as if it were supposed to. Gigi, why did he throw that dull shuriken? Sarutobi's smile grew even wider. Seeing if Alma was right. He even knew it was blunted, definitely a good thing. You coulda asked? Naruto said. It's funny though. Sitting still, I can't even feel the flow that well. But when moving, or acting, I can see it much more easily. When playing this ocarina, it's so clear, it's like I know where everything is. Everything? Naruto nodded. I even felt your hands move. Sarutobi lost his smile, which turned into a smirk. Well, Naruto, I believe you've got yourself quite the ability with this flow. Is Sylph teaching you this? Well, she was trying to teach me, but it's normally used by a friend of hers. It's not really easy, and she says it would help me if I wanted to become a shinobi. Knowing where everything is without even being able to see anything would be a helpful ability indeed. I say you should master it. If you haven't mastered yet, that is. Naruto nodded at that. I have a long way to go to master it. Sylph says I'm not even halfway to mastering it. Sarutobi's eyes widened slightly, before a smile settled on his face. I see. Then work on it. I'll send for you when the academy starts up. Anything Sylph teaches you would be considered a clan jutsu, and to reject teaching someone one of those abilities is your call. Remember that. If you find any other elemental spirits, then their abilities are to teach at your discretion as well. Naruto smiled widely, and nodded. Thanks, Gigi. Sarutobi chuckled at that. It took them 2 days of walking before they were in sight of the village. Naruto stopped playing prematurely, and looked around and at Angel Halo. Gigi, I'll head home from here. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Sarutobi nodded and Naruto ran into the bushes to find his clearing. It was much easier than he had thought. Playing the ocarina was a lot better for his concentration. It was 5 months later that an ANBU entered his clearing. He was mostly ignored, and left alone, much to his pleasure. Apparently the academy was starting up in 3 days. Naruto had managed to master the flow, thanks to Undine and Alma's advice. It was 2 months ago he managed to achieve full mastery of Serene Mind. It was actually thanks to a jutsu Luca had taught him in his mind. Luca and Salamander had managed to up his control. His chakra levels were far higher than even the Hokage. He could climb trees, with or without hands, and walk on water. Undine didn't exactly like the fact that he slightly harmed the water, so instead of just walking, he harmonized himself with the water, getting rid of the disturbance in it. He had created a taijutsu style that combined the power of all 4 spirits. He called it the Elemental Strike Fist. Naruto had decided to ask Undine a question after the ANBU was long gone. Hey Undine? How do I get to Irubity? Finally wanting to visit I see. Yeah, but can you blame me? I wanted to master the serene mind before I did. Naruto retorted. Yes, I know. Undine smiled. All you have to do is find a pure water source, jump in, and let me do the rest. Okay? Naruto nodded and left the clearing to find a river that was clear enough to see the bed a good 6 feet down. He jumped in, and Undine did the job perfectly. He found himself in a cave still wet. Irubity was nearby, and about ready to strike. He dodged her, sensing her through the flow, before sending a small windpost to dry himself off. Irubity? He asked. He saw her smiling. Naruto. It's been a while. Too long. Undine took a solid form, being as this was her home. Irubity, he's already mastered the serene mind. It was why he took so long to come back. She said, smiling at Naruto. The other spirits came out and solidified. I must say, you did a good job, Undine. Anything else he learned? Well, a few months ago we ran into Alma. Naruto scratched the back of his head. She's actually the reason I knew what to do. It was slow going with Undine's help only. Alma helped out? Irubity was slightly surprised. Naruto then explained the trip. Irubity had to smile at that. Yeah, that sounds like Alma, alright. She'd do anything to annoy Granburia. I'm glad you kept to your word and no one had found me. You've also gotten a good bit taller. She was right, in the years since he last saw her, he had gained a good 4 inches on his height. You think so? She smiled at him. Yes, you have. Undine, you've done well in teaching him, as have the rest of you, I presume? The spirits all nodded. Alma helped, but we also came up with a fighting style for him. It would allow him to use our abilities with ease and without having to switch it up. Gnome said. Earth for power, wind for speed, water for flexibility, and fire for strength. Salamander pointed out. He uses all of them, and understands all 4 of our elements. Downside is, you can tell which element I'm favoring by what the style does. Naruto told her. You see, I get a lot faster using the wind portion. I take more hits with earth. With water, I'm more focused on dodging and counters. Fire, I hit harder. A lot harder. Oh, and Luca taught me something my mom had hidden. Oh? And what would that be? Naruto put his hands in a position. His index and pinky fingers touched at the tips, while the middle and ring fingers touched at the base of the opposing hands. A/N, picture the rooster hand sign, just stretch out the middle and ring fingers, dark side clone. A clone of him formed from his shadow. It was a complete copy of himself. I only really use him for sparring, and it helped in taijutsu training. A lot. Naruto smiled at the clone. He's pretty good, and I started learning it in the final stages of Serene Mind. At least, that's what Undine said. He's right. That's when we started it. Water looks more like a graceful dance to the humans. It's a work in progress, and definitely not finished though. Naruto said. Tell me about this clone. I've never heard of something like it. Irubity said. Naruto nodded. The dark side clone is basically a solid clone that is made from the darkness in one's heart. It can heal itself, knows everything the original knows, and would have no qualms using it on anyone. When it dispels, the essence is brought back. While it's out though, I don't cast a shadow. It's actually formed from my shadow and the dark side of my heart. It helps that I can go all out on him. Irubity nodded. That's a good thing to have. Now, what is it that you found while on that trip to Suna? Naruto simply sighed. It was Angel Halo. It was in a temple, stabbed into a pedestal, under the sands. Pretty far in, too. The clone dissolved and Naruto's shadow returned. I've been working with sticks against the clone, too. Only started that last week when I had the basic forms for each element, and managed to combine them into one. Did I start with it? I'm nowhere near finished with it. I see. Well, have a seat. Let's talk a little. They continued to talk for a while. Naruto talked about his training, what he learned, what he figured out, and even the ocarina which had helped him immensely. When he was asked to play a tune, he started to play one from his heart. It gave off his happiness, even with the undercurrent of pain still there. Irubity felt everything he put into the tune, and knew quickly that he played with his feelings instead of any set tune. The little-known Song of the Heart, it was called. There was no one way to play that song. But she could tell when someone was playing it nearby. She knew that Naruto was playing it. Naruto, when did you learn to play that song? She asked. Naruto looked at her. I just play what comes to mind. It always makes me feel better. Naruto, that song is unique. Do you want to know why? Naruto nodded. It's because it's the only one without a set way to play it. It's called the Song of the Heart. When one can play an instrument well enough, they can pour their heart out through that song. It's when a person's true feelings come out for the world to see. Playing the Song of the Heart is simple to play, but is complicated to figure out, unless you can tell what the notes mean. What they mean? This is something I can explain. Sylph started. Each note has a particular point on the emotional scale. The longer you play the song, the more the feelings come alive. The reason there is no one way to play it is because it is based on the individual, not the instrument, or even sheet music. It comes from the heart, and is impossible to record and play right if it is not your heart. When Alma told you to play from your heart, she wanted to know how you truly felt. Naruto's eyes widened. You mean, I've been playing the same song all this time, no matter what I played? Yup. It's why you achieved serene mind. Alma helped out more than anyone realized. Sylph told them, you didn't mention telling anyone about me, and no one has come. You're welcome to come by if you like, but make sure you're not followed, any? Erubity told him. Naruto simply nodded. I start the academy in 3 days. Gotta go through the village to do so, though. It's gonna be a pain to deal with the looks of the villagers. Don't worry so much. You've got us with you at all times. Sylph said. Naruto nodded with a smile. Thanks, Sylph. Guys, the 4 spirits hugged him, and he returned it as best as he could. Get some rest. If anything I've heard about the academy is true, you'll need it, and try to learn what they teach, boring or not. Erubity told him. Naruto nodded. I'll try to. Erubity, you know how the wind is. He's taken more traits from me than Gnome would like. Sylph told her. We can't sit still for long periods of time without doing anything, Gnome groaned. Don't remind me. But at least he can be serious when he needs to. You can't. Shut up. Sylph told her. While the wind and earth fight again, you think I can spar with you? Are you sure? I mean, I can be pretty ruthless while fighting. Yeah. Probably can't hurt me as bad as the dark side clone does. Naruto commented. -10 minutes later, Naruto was on the ground, beaten badly. Ow, what was that about the dark side clone hurting you more? Erubity smirked. He still hurts me more, but you took me out faster. He commented. Ow, that still hurt though. At least you don't hit where he does. He winced. Sylph and Gnome stopped fighting, and looked at Naruto, as Undine was healing his wounds. They walked up to him. Who did he fight? Gnome asked. Sylph looked at Erubity. He wanted to spar with you, didn't he? I told him I'd get a little rough. She said. Sylph looked at Naruto. You just had to challenge her, didn't you? My dark side clone does worse. Naruto said. Undine finished. Honestly, Naruto, the clone does more damage, but the fight lasts longer. In the same time frame, the clone would do a little more damage than Erubity did. Not much more, but still more. You've got Luca's angel blood to thank for that. The fact he ends up like this after every spar is not that good for him physically, but it helps him improve. Sylph said. I tend to put earth weights on him that weigh him down to train his speed. Gnome admitted. It helps him out in that department. To last 10 minutes at the level I was going, I'm actually impressed. He's easily mastered the serene mind for this. I can tell he had to use it all throughout the fight, and knew it would not be enough. Erubity admitted. He's obviously progressed well. Salamander then spoke up. Thing is, he plans to play the fool in the academy. It was Luca's suggestion. Why would Luca suggest that? Erubity questioned. He said the dead last is always paired up with the Rookie of the Year. Being sealed inside the wife of the Yondaime Hokage was pretty informative. Rookie of the Year, Kunoichi of the Year, and dead last of the class will get put on the same team. It's the only guaranteed team. By being the dead last, I can be put with the best, and make them better. Naruto said, sitting up slowly. It's actually simple if you know what you're doing. Learn everything I can, make a fool out of myself, and put on an act that would get me to be the dead last of the class. Find a good class, then pass the final, then, hopefully with my age group. Erubity thought about it for a moment and nodded. You'll need a different style. The deer skins won't be good enough for it. Granted, they look pretty good, they won't fit the purpose. Whoever made them was pretty good. You really think I'm that good? Naruto asked, sitting against a rock. Because what I've been wearing for almost a year I made myself. I caught my food, made my own clothes. Gnome helped me learn to tend to my garden, very relaxing I'll admit, and how to skin. I've also been learning more Fuinjutsu from Luca, and Salamander has been slowly getting my body adjusted for hotter and colder temperatures. He can be lit on fire without any trouble now. Hell, he could probably be hit with an A-rank fire jutsu of this time and be completely unaffected. Salamander spoke with pride. His body adapts quickly. Too bad I can't get him good enough to sit in a pool of lava without being affected. He'll have to get it done himself. Well, you're welcome to rest up here until tomorrow. Erubity stated. I would enjoy your company. At least stay for the night. For the next 3 days, Naruto had actually gone into the village to find a few things. On the second he had found out the traveling merchants were in town, and decided to sell a few of his furs that had been in used bones, and a few other items he picked up while hunting. He managed to get a lot of money from it, and went into a shinobi shop. There was a man at the counter who simply raised an eyebrow at him. Looking for something, kid? I'm going into the ninja academy. I kinda need supplies. Naruto said, somewhat sheepishly. The man looked into Naruto's eyes. Let's see, you've got some rags for clothing. Deerskin? Naruto nodded. Had to make them myself. Been living in the forest almost a year. No parents? Naruto shook his head. He had long since gotten over it for the most part. I see. Well, I'm always happy to help orphans. Though, I do wonder why you don't live in the orphanage. I'm not gonna pry. It's probably personal. He shrugged. Right this way. He led Naruto to a rack of clothing. Naruto had found orange jumpsuits. Sylph immediately noticed them. The orange ones aren't exactly fit for shinobi, he said. How much are they? You sure, kid? I heard a few masked guys say that deception is a shinobi's greatest friend. You say this isn't good for a shinobi? I say it's perfect. Naruto smiled. Damn. Never thought I'd ever see these things get sold. Just take them. I've got more in larger sizes. When you outgrow them, come back and I'll get you the larger ones. Could you put a symbol on it though? Something specific. Think you can draw it out? He asked, holding up a piece of paper and a pen. Naruto nodded and took it. He drew a picture of a whirlwind surrounded by a spiral of flames, with water droplets and rocks around it in random patterns. This is what I mean. The man looked at it. One on the back, don't you? Naruto nodded. Can do. They'll be ready tomorrow. I'll even modify the larger ones ahead of time to make sure they're ready when you get them. Thank you, sir. Naruto bowed his head. Name's Dustin. Dustin Higurashi. You're welcome to come here anytime, Naruto. Naruto stiffened a bit. I knew who you were from the beginning, and decided to make my own opinion. I like what I saw. Like I said, you're welcome here anytime. The smile on his face brought one to Naruto's. Thanks, Dustin. Naruto walked out, and didn't see the ANBU watching over him until he looked into the flow. Really, he had only been using it when he felt some kind of intent to kill, whether it was used on him or not. It wasn't from the direction of the ANBU, but knew where it was. Someone's in trouble. Might want to help. He ran off in the direction and found a few girls picking on someone. Through the flow, he found the shape of the girl and vanished into the wind, grabbed the girl, and she vanished as well, before they ended up on a rooftop. The girl had dark blue hair, lavender almost white eyes, but was crying. You okay? He asked softly. She looked at him, tears in her eyes. She shook her head. Those kids were picking on you, weren't they? Why, yes. Do you know why? She nodded. Care to tell me? So she explained how she was the heiress of the Hyuga clan, through a lot of stuttering, and that she was too weak for her clan. He pulled her close and said encouraging words, calming her down just like Undine used to a while back. As she stopped crying and shaking, he pulled back a bit. Feel better now? She nodded with a smile. Then listen closely. I can give you some advice when it comes to strength. From what I can tell, you're a water element. If you're training for taijutsu, you'll need more flexibility in your style. Water is flexible, pretty fast, and yet able to run even the earth ragged with time. Water is like the wind in many ways. The wind is faster, but water is more flexible. Earth can take a lot of damage, but water can easily wear down the earth by outlasting them. Wind outsmarts the earth. Water breaks it down. Fire turns it to ashes. Fight like the water. Then you'll see your potential. Understand? She thought for a moment and nodded. Why, yes. I do, she replied meekly. Then remember that when training, feel how your body flows. If it isn't flowing like a river, then it's not for you. It has to feel right to be used best. When you have to force yourself to move a certain way for taijutsu, then change the taijutsu. She nodded, and caught his smile. He looked away. Looks like someone's coming. I should get going. Name's Naruto. H. Hinata. Later Hinata. He smiled and vanished before she felt something similar to lips hit her cheek. She didn't see him before or after it, but somehow she knew. He just kissed her on the cheek. She blushed a deep red and fainted with a smile on her face. A woman found her like that as she landed next to her, and smiled. Looks like Hinata's got a little crush. The next day, Naruto managed to get the new clothes, put them on, and went to the opening ceremony for the academy. He was in bright orange jumpsuit with the symbol he drew on his back, a red spiral on his left shoulder, and white one on his right shoulder, and blue underneath. Naruto's Part 1 clothing, resized to fit his smaller body, just with the new symbol on the back. When their classes were called out, Naruto was in a useless class. No aspiring candidates. He listened, and when he asked questions, he was punished. Late? Punished. He was barely able to learn anything. The spirits were talking with him as he was always punished. It was this way throughout his first year. It was before the beginning of the second year that Sylph had an idea. Remember what Alma said when you picked out the ocarina? This caused Naruto to get a fox-like grin. Thanks for reminding me, Sylph. Time to go on a pranking spree. I would not suggest that, Naruto. Undine stated. I see it as more than just pranking, Undine. Gnome, you know how high the weights are, right? I don't see what this has to do with anything. Large pranks equal ninja following me. What happens when I have to run from Chunin to avoid getting caught? Sylph knew what he was saying, and Salamander had just figured it out. I get it now. Sal, you're looking to use this for speed training. Naruto sent them all a nod. Undine then thought about it. You know, that's a good idea. Pranks are childish, I'll admit, but then there's the speed to get out of there. That's training. Stamina to keep going. There's more. Gnome added, and doing so in this orange jumpsuit is stealth training. Set it up without being noticed. Sylph was cut off. He'll be even more dangerous in darker colors. My sentiments exactly. Naruto told them. If I could set up a prank in broad daylight in a bright orange jumpsuit, think of what I could do in actual shinobi clothing at night. They all got the picture then. I'm probably gonna regret this, but pranks it is. Undine agreed. Needless to say she did. Sylph, however, had the time of her life watching Naruto play pranks. Gnome had realized just what Naruto was trying to do, she even pitched in a few times. Salamander always laughed at the results. Chapter 3. Naruto had spent 6 years in the academy. He had failed the graduation exam twice already, and the third one was approaching fast. His book skills were at the lowest possible to pass. His shuriken and kunai skills, though decent, weren't the best. Taijutsu was poor with the academy style, but outside the academy he sparred with his dark side clone. That got him a lot more results in his own taijutsu form. He had nearly mastered the 4 elemental styles and combined them. Thanks to Sylph and Gnome, who oddly collaborated on it, his sword skills were sharp. Sarutobi had called him in the 5th year, asking why he hadn't passed. Sarutobi knew that Naruto was better than he was putting out. Naruto's only response to that was, "This deception is a shinobi's greatest ally." It was then Sarutobi kept quiet, and handed him the sword. It was a standard broadsword, double-edged. He kept the sword at home, Angel Halo right next to it. When he had started to use the actual sword against the clone, he had been learning Luca's specialties. He learned the demon decapitation fast and easily. The next thing he learned was Thunderous Thrust. While anyone else would have laughed at the perverted name, he knew the reason it was called such had nothing to do with perversion. It was a fast stab with a sword, and a lot more effective if you get the drop on your target. The next thing he learned was the demon skull beheading. He could jump high, but not high enough, so he ran up a few trees and managed to pull it off. The strike was a downward slash that used gravity to increase the damage. The longer the fall, the more damage it'll do. The next one he learned, and this was a lot harder than the others, was the Death Sword Chaos Star. It was hard to get, for the simple fact he had to get it to do what he wanted it to. That was his problem. When he finally let it do what it wanted, he got it down. Every time he wanted certain spots hit, they were hit. 1 slash is all it took to get it down. The attack took him a week to figure out and another day to master it. Next thing he learned was from Sylph especially. And that was mastered in an hour. The lightning sword flash was so simple, that it should have been a crime. It was a much faster version of the Thunderous Thrust, and once mastered, he always used that instead of the Thunderous Thrust. He was so good with it, he disappeared even to the flow before striking. That got Undine's attention, and named him a master of it already. Undine then taught him the Serene Demon's Sword. It was a quick draw move. Dangerous, but he rarely used it. He would need the sword at his hip to use it properly. He kept it on his back instead. The basis was simple. You find the flow, find your target, draw the blade and strike with the flow. Took him an entire day to master it. Gnome taught him the earth-rumbling decapitation. When channeling Gnome's powers he could use it a lot more easily, and jump instead of climbing something. Bringing down the force of earth was a powerful addition. He needed Gnome's help to use this, however. Could never use it on his own, unlike the others. Then came what Salamander described as Granberia's original move. The Vaporizing Rebellion Sword was a much more powerful version of the Death Sword Chaos Star, and used fire to the utmost. The power behind it was unreal, and he had to use the Serene Demon's Sword to put out the resulting flames. In the end, it took him a good 3 days from learning how to perform it. He was decent with it, but not a master by the time graduation would come this time around. The broadsword Sarutobi had made for him was able to handle each one of the attacks, but it was unknown if it could handle the quadruple giga, and as such they told him of it, but never explained how it was done exactly. All throughout learning these sword techniques, his control over the corresponding elements were a lot better over time. In the academy he had found a class with the right people in it, and was planning on passing this time. He had learned the henge, rope escape, and replacement jutsu. Sadly, even with his enhanced control, he still couldn't perform the normal bunshin. He used the lowest amount of chakra he could possibly use, and still couldn't make less than 42. He simply had too much chakra. Luca, seeing this, taught him the shadow clone jutsu. Shadow clones were a godsend for him. He could make a good 1,200 with relative ease when he was on a full tank. He visited Irubity on occasion, making sure he was never followed. Naruto had just finished painting the Hokage monument as a prank. Cannon prank. He then looked at it, for a moment, and finally ran off, banging the paint cans together. In the bright orange jumpsuit, Chunin and Jounin started chasing him around. He had a good 90 kilos of weight on each of his limbs, plus his chakra was restricted with seals, increasing the effort required by 6 times the usual amount. Despite all that, he could outrun the Chunin and Jounin with relative ease. There was only one of those 2 ranks that always caught him, no matter where he went, or where his restrictions lay. His name was Iruka Yamano. After the 3rd year, Iruka was Naruto's sensei. Unlike the other teachers, Iruka didn't discriminate against him particularly. His assistant Mizuki, on the other hand, hated him with a passion. Once again, Iruka caught him, after he lost most of the other shinobi following him. Tied up and bound, Iruka got him into the class. No one had seen his dark side clone, so they didn't know about it. He felt it better that way, too. He mostly ignored the lecture Irika gave. Because of this, the class went over the henge, transformation jutsu, once again. He noted Sasuke's hidden smile at his action. He knew that meant good job, man. While they were in class. About that. Sasuke had long since knew that Naruto was holding back in class. After the Uchiha massacre, Naruto had confronted Sasuke when he was alone, and told him a few things. Since then, Naruto and Sasuke were secretly friends. Sasuke had never seen where Naruto lived, and found it better that way. Sasuke was also aware of the fact that Naruto was gunning for dead last on purpose. Again, he asked why, and said that the dead last was always paired up with the rookie of the year. As an Uchiha, the last loyal one at that, Sasuke would be pushed to be at the top of the class. Naruto had taught him how to achieve the serene mind, and gotten him to give up revenge, and change his target. Either way, Naruto and Sasuke were secretly friends, while everyone else saw that they never got along. Naruto had also told him of the Uchiha clan's relation to the hero Luca, along with Naruto's true relation to Luca. After hearing what Luca was like back in the day, Sasuke took the mask of the Uchiha clan, and used it to hide the true self within, which was the side that followed Luca's ideals. Needless to say, both of them were playing the entire village like a fiddle. Or in Naruto's case, an ocarina. Naruto was called for the transformation jutsu, and did it right. Funny thing about that, Naruto transformed into what everybody would like as a human. Fairly pale skin, deep blue eyes, dark blue hair. Good C-cup to D-cup breasts, and a figure to die for. The kicker, she was naked. Irika, hell all males in the classroom, went flying with nosebleeds aside from Sasuke, who had found his way to Arubadi on his own. He held back his snicker. Arubadi is so gonna have fun with this one. Naruto changed back and Irika yelled at him about jokes. He stood next to Sasuke and whispered to him. That was Arubadi in human form. She never showed us. He whispered back. No, but that's what I'd see her looking like if she did. Just add clothes. Sasuke nodded slightly at that. He saw the resemblance as well. After class, Naruto was washing off the paint on the Hokage monument, before being treated to ramen. No matter how much he hadn't eaten ramen over the years, and hunted for his own food, ramen was still his favorite, and always will be. When he was finally released, Naruto went to find Arubadi, and show her the form. When he got there, he found Sasuke there already. Naruto, did you really have to do that today? She scolded him. Perfect prank, and informative for me as well. I just thought to transform what you would look like as a human. Didn't have a clear picture. The naked part was I've never seen you wear clothes, and that didn't come into the picture. That's the only reason it doubled as a prank. There was a moment of silence. Show me. He transformed into the form again, and she inspected it. She then nodded. Impressive. Very accurate too. Everything is spot on. I might just use it later on myself. The slimy body shifted and turned into the same form as Naruto was in. Yes, definitely useful. Good job, Naruto. Never used the human form before. Really should thank you for this. Naruto released his henge and Arubadi shifted back. Sasuke looked between the two. You know, sometimes I question your sanity, Naruto. Oh, come off it. He retorted. You know I only get like that in front of others to fool them. Seriously, all the things I do around the village is good physical training, and I can do so without many consequences due to being an orphan. That way, it wouldn't surprise people that much if I showed some physical skills because then they'd realize what I was really doing. I still question your sanity. He repeated. Play nice you too. Arubadi told them. Yes ma'am. Good. The graduation is in a week. Naruto, I'm gonna fail this time as well, and keep the mask up. Naruto said. What are you talking about? I think that Mizuki-sensei is a traitor. He's got something planned. What it is, I don't know, but if he can frame me for it, then he'll try to make it so I can get on top. Whatever it is, I'll have a clone tell you and stick around, if it's a retrieval. No one knows about my ability for shadow clones but you. Not even the Hokage knows about it. He already knows about Sylph, but what about the others? Not a clue. He still thinks that Sylph is the only one I have. I constantly use the state of serene mind in the village to know when someone is going to strike me. Naruto said. I use it because of my fangirls. Seriously, those things can't be human. Sylph materialized. Those things you call fangirls are definitely not human. I mean, they would give Black Alice a run for her money. This caused all of those present to shiver. Yeah, you got the idea. They are that dangerous. Sasuke and Naruto nodded. Sasuke knew they were dangerous, but hearing about Black Alice from someone who was there makes it even worse. So, see what's going on? Naruto asked. They all nodded. If Mizuki-sensei tries to give me a makeup and it's not on the list of possible makeups, which I have found, then it's a trap, and I'll let you know, Sasuke. But keep it on the down low. What he gives me may not be a makeup, but catching a traitor in the act definitely is. He smirked at that. Sasuke then realized it. I get you. How will you keep out of trouble, if it were real? Just stay up that night. Keep on the lookout. If news spreads about me doing something illegal, find me and do it quick. Got it. The night of graduation, Naruto was sitting outside of a shed, reading out of a large scroll. In his mind, however, He was laughing alongside the spirits in his head. Seriously, how much of a fool can he be, thinking you were stupid enough to fall for the trap? Undine added. Sasuke then entered the clearing. Naruto, got the message, I presume? He nodded. Good. Found what I was getting from it. Already got it down, too. He handed Sasuke the scroll, and pointed to an A-rank fire jutsu. That one. Should help you out. Work on it. I was about to do so myself. Already got the hand signs. Giant flame sphere, alright. Let's get to it. Sasuke then memorized the hand signs and tested them out. When he had them, they both used the jutsu on a nearby tree. Both targets were instantly incinerated. The fireball from both was easily 5 times as big as the Katan, Grand Fireball Jutsu. It took them a good few hours to master it with minimal chakra. Then Iruka dropped in. Iruka-sensei? Naruto. What are you, huh? Sasuke? Iruka was obviously confused at Sasuke's presence. They both looked like they had been training. Naruto, what have you been doing? Sasuke and Naruto looked at each other, then at Iruka. Before they could answer, all of them felt incoming kunai. Naruto vanished. Sasuke jumped away, but Iruka, trying to get Naruto out of the way, was hit. Naruto. Give me the scroll, and you pass. It was Mizuki. Naruto looked at Mizuki confused. Why should I give it to you? Iruka-sensei found me first, so shouldn't he be the one to evaluate me? I mean, I learned 2 jutsu from this thing in the time it took for him to get here. Sasuke learned one of them, so he could get extra credit. Sasuke nodded at that. The best can only get better. His mask was also in place. Naruto, I can tell you why everyone hates you. Mizuki, no. It's forbidden. Iruka was promptly ignored. 12 years ago, the 9-tailed fox attacked. Naruto then knew where he was going. The Yondaime Hokage was unable to kill it, so he had to seal it. Naruto knew enough about seals to know both methods. In his pranks, he had found a few decrees that were to never been seen. This one was one of them. You are the Kyuubi no Yoko. Mizuki was stopped in his actions by laughter? Sasuke, Iruka and Mizuki all looked at him. That is the big secret? Honestly, Mizuki, you should have gone for something a lot more believable. He shook his head, obviously amused. First off, I know a thing or two about sealing demons and monsters. One method, the one you're talking about, is impossible with Fuinjutsu. Even an experienced master would be unable to seal a demon of that magnitude into a completely human form with no memory whatsoever. That is only done with one weapon that has ever been created, and it was created from the blood of angels and the skin of monsters. It's called Angel Halo, you nitwit. Not even registering the insult, Mizuki simply stared. That method would simply turn the Kyuubi into a harmless fox as if it were a simple house pet. The method through usage of Fuinjutsu would seal it into an object, much like sealing a kunai into a scroll. The kunai is harmless inside of the scroll, but dangerous when unsealed. That is the method the Yondaime used, seeing as Angel Halo has been lost to the world for a good 1,000 years. So basically, you calling me the Kyuubi no Yoko is outright impossible. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi was watching the confrontation in complete amusement. Naruto, make him squirm. Back with the group. And how would you know that if you weren't the Kyuubi? Mizuki didn't bother to hide his smirk. Because Angel Halo was lost 300 years before the Kyuubi was born with his last wielder. Naruto retorted. The last wielder of Angel Halo was part angel. No human can wield it and live. You'd sooner tear your arm off. A friend of mine accompanied him as a spirit. Her name is Sylph. She's been with me ever since I was 5, the spirit of wind. She told me about it, and I gotta say that the only way to know if it's true or not would be to find Angel Halo, which would be damn near impossible. Mizuki's plan was crumbling around him. How did he figure it out? Damn it. Well, looks like I can't let any of you live now. He drew a Fuma Shuriken and threw it at Naruto, who was instantly on guard, with Serene Mind in effect. Sasuke had Serene Mind in effect as well. Naruto used ANBU signals to Iruka telling him not to interfere. Iruka was debating to listen or not, but decided to do so when Naruto and Sasuke avoided the shuriken with ease. Naruto also grabbed the ring in the center, before twirling and throwing it at Mizuki, who dodged. He held a smirk. ANBU code Delta Alpha 778. Traitors are to be captured and interrogated. Amendment 2, if capture is not possible, then death is the only choice. Sasuke, what say you? Agreed. Naruto then unsealed his sword, which surprised all in the area, aside from Sasuke. Finally gonna use that out here? Might as well. Naruto replied, since the sword was on his hip. But first, let's show him the first jutsu I learned from this. He made the one-hand sign that was overused in canon. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Suddenly there were 500 shadow clone, all with a sword at their hips. Guess what? One said, you're gonna die here. Another spoke, goodbye, traitor, serene demon sword. All of them drew their swords and swung, completely dicing Mizuki, who was surprised. Sasuke whistled at the technique. One of those moves? The shadow clones dispersed at a random interval, while the original looked at Iruka and Sasuke. Yeah. Used by Luca. One of his most used. It was most effective with Undine, but I'm best aligned with Sylph. Lightning sword flash is more my speed. The fact that I can disappear to the flow using it is a good point for that. Sasuke shook his head in amusement. They both turned to Irika. Chunin Irika, the traitor has been found and neutralized. He took the large scroll and tossed it to Irika. Please return that to Hokage-sama. What you saw and heard is classified. The council is not allowed to know. Then how come Sasuke knows, Naruto? Because I let him in on the entire thing. Naruto looked up. He already knows about Sylph, and the other spirits. Luca, and his part in the creation of the shinobi system. The clan points as well. Elsewhere Sarutobi sighed. Naruto looked at Irika again. Sasuke and I are really friends, after the revelation of the origin of the Uchiha clan. We've got relations way back when. Naruto and Sasuke high-five-foot each other. We'll be fine. Irika. Hokage-sama. Naruto vanished. Sasuke just sighed, before looking at Irika. He'll be fine. He'll wait it out for a few days. You've just seen why I respect him, at that. Because I know. Sasuke jumped off. Irika was dumbfounded, and took the scroll back to the Hokage's tower. Sarutobi had a blank look, but inside was laughing hysterically. My god, Naruto! Overkill that may be, but useful it most certainly is. Sasuke and Naruto had met up at Urubiti's cave. So, how'd it go? She asked. The guy really thought I was Luca's current form. Seriously, calling me the Kyuubi no Yoko? That's going a bit too far. Besides, they've got his personality all wrong. Naruto shook his head. Tell me something I don't know. Sasuke added, activating his Sharingan. I still haven't let anyone know I have the Sharingan yet. Don't need it with access to the flow. Both eyes had two tomos. Seriously, this village has gone to shit. No kidding. Naruto said. They all laughed at that. Non then came out, as did Salamander. So, you gonna tell the Hokage your original plan? Non questioned. Knowing Gigi, he already knows what I was planning to do. Naruto replied. Sasuke looked at Salamander. I take it you have something else to talk about. Yeah, I do. The Death Sword Chaos Star and Vaporizing Rebellion sword techniques. They're not limited to broadswords. If you have enough skill with a katana, you can use it. Chikuto is actually easier, but broadsword is the easiest to use it with. Modern-day Chikuto is next in line. Sasuke then had a small smirk on his face. So, learn to use a Chikuto, and when I'm good enough I can learn it. Exactly? I've actually been looking into the nature of the technique. Theoretically it's possible. Naruto still prefers the lightning sword flash. Salamander admitted. Vaporizing Rebellion sword, mastered or not, is a lot better against multiple opponents. Single targets are much less useful. Naruto defended. Besides, you know I'm a wind main. It's why I always open my spars, when I use my own style, with wind. Not arguing that point. Still, using the pranks to train was a good idea. Undine materialized. I stand by my word when I said I would regret agreeing to it. Say, why not play a good tune here? Naruto blinked and smiled a bit, before taking out his ocarina. Sasuke hadn't seen him, or heard him play it in all his time knowing the blonde. You play an instrument? Naruto nodded. It keeps me calm easily. Had it since I was 5. 6 months after Sylph and the gang started helping me out. Just sit back and listen. Naruto played a song befitting of water. Urubiti knew that one, as she had taught it to him years ago. See, Lugia's song. Played in Pokemon, the power of one. Don't. Everyone just listened, and Sasuke was awed at the skill played. The movements of his fingers, the rhythm of the song, every note. The Uchiha was completely enraptured by the song. Naruto had also been dancing around as he played the tune in the higher, more jovial notes, in the original soundtrack. It's the time when all the trumpets and other instruments come into play. As it reached near the end, he settled for one spot and finished it off. His eyes were closed throughout the entire song, so he opened them. Sasuke actually had a smile on his face and clapped. That was absolutely amazing. You've got years of experience though, so I guess it's natural. The Song of the Sea Beast. Not exactly my favorite, but one I know well. Besides, Urubiti likes it. Naruto smiled at her, as she nodded. So, you gonna stay here for now, or go back to your home in the forest? She asked. Actually, I'm not opposed to having him over in the Uchiha district. It was at that point they had an unwanted visitor in the cave, so they all went silent. Naruto instantly looked into the flow, and nearly growled. He held it back though, knowing it wouldn't do any good. Sarutobi looked around in the cave, surprised that Naruto wasn't there. I could have sworn I did it right, Hokage-sama. He turned his head to see Naruto looking at him in disdain. Why did you come here? I wanted to give you something but I couldn't sense you. When I found you I tried to shun Shin, but it landed me here. Where are we anyway? Naruto shook his head. You shouldn't have come here, Hokage-sama. The serious voice and usage of formal terms meant that this was more serious than life or death. Naruto, Urubiti, Sasuke and the spirits walked up to him. Hokage-sama? Sarutobi, if you wanted to give me something you could have waited. Naruto pointed out. Sarutobi pulled out 2 bags of money and a headband. One bag went to Sasuke and the other went to Naruto. The headband also went to Naruto. I would also like to congratulate you both on your first B-rank mission. Naruto eyed the headband and looked at Sasuke. Told you he knew what I was planning, not until after you started it all. Sarutobi admitted. Knowledge Sylph gave you was obviously helpful. He then looked around. I also see that she's not the only one that helped out. Sorry I kept them a secret, but Arubadi didn't want to be found. Naruto admitted. You would do well not to anger me, Sarutobi. Arubadi warned. After seeing what Alma could do, I'm neither stupid enough, nor young enough to try. I heard about that, but that wasn't even her best. Alma also rarely fought to her fullest. I rarely, if ever, hold back. Arubadi told him. If I may ask, why do you stay in the area? I had been watching over the Uchiha clan until I met Naruto. After finding his blood connection to Luca, then I stayed for him as well. When the Uchiha clan was exterminated, I was actually happy that the disgraces were gone. Itachi had my respect. Getting rid of them was a good thing in my eyes. Your council thinks otherwise. They're power-hungry bigots, not to mention they hate me. Naruto added. I mean, I go to Higurashi Weapons for supplies, because that's where I get my clothes. They don't overcharge me, or even kick me out. Dustin is a good man. Knowing what I hold, and still serving me as if it didn't mean anything. Most shops aren't like that, I noticed. That's why they have my service. They serve you, I'll go to them. If not, fuck them sideways. Sasuke pointed out. Sarutobi looked at the fairy. I take it you're Sylph? The fairy nodded. The short stack is Gnome. That's Undine. Sylph pointed at Undine. And this is Salamander. We're the original 4 elemental spirits. Sarutobi nodded to all of them. Naruto, I take it you only told me about Sylph because Alma exposed her. It was a statement, not a question. Nonetheless, he nodded in response. So, you've had all of them with you all this time. I must say you hid them quite well. He smiled at them all, and even Arubadi. I must thank you for being there when I could not. As much as I would like to be there for him more, I'm afraid that most of my hands are tied with him. It's the most I can do to stop the council from trying to execute him. They've been after it since he was born. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. And you keep him here, why? It's his choice. I wouldn't have blamed him if he left for good. Now that he's a shinobi, however, there are a few things I found that I couldn't give you until you become a chunin. This had Naruto and Sasuke falter. Apparently, I found a letter while I was going through some old documents. Naruto, I managed to find out who your parents were, because they mentioned you by name, and if the villagers can't see your father in you, then they are more than just ignorant. They're blind. Both your parents are also on the memorial stone. You carry your mother's name, probably because it's safer, and your father had even more enemies than your mother. I can't tell you who your father is, but it should be fine for me to tell you about your mother, given the fact that I saw you mutilate Mizuki. Nice job on that, by the way. Yeah, the guy was gunning for it. Besides, I've known about the QB ever since I was 5. He was wrong about me. Naruto admitted. Sarutobi looked at Arubadi once more. You have been watching over Naruto as well, I presume. She simply nodded. Then as long as you don't harm him, I will keep your location secret. I care for him like a grandson, and that's why I appreciate what you've done for him, Arubadi. Arubadi had a small smile. Good. I'd hate to have to kill the guy Naruto thinks of as his grandfather. She looked at the blonde. I'm glad you chose him, and not some bigoted fool. Naruto grabbed his chest. You wound me. I wouldn't think of choosing anyone else to do that. Naruto, Sasuke, you both are shinobi now. That won't change, no matter what. You both earned the position because of your actions tonight. I am glad to know that Naruto has people that care for him. They are few, I'll admit, and I don't like it. It's those few that keep me here. Naruto said. If I left, they'd be in more danger. The council aren't idiots. They'll try to figure out where I am, and they'll target them. Any chance of you moving into your mother's estate? Sarutobi asked. I know all of her stuff was sealed in there, but no one has been able to enter ever since she died. Only those she wanted in could get in, aside from blood. Only one person alive can get in, and he stays away from it, and spends more time in front of the memorial stone. Naruto thought about it, and shook his head. I'll be fine in my current home, thanks though. Any chance I could check it out? Sarutobi handed him a small piece of paper. That's the address? I'd suggest you check it out tomorrow, instead of tonight. Team placements are in a week. I wish you luck. Sarutobi looked around. Quick question. Naruto grabbed his arm. Got it. Naruto then tossed him straight upwards. Later, GG. Was said just as Naruto let go. Sarutobi went through the ceiling. Naruto simply smiled at that. That was so worth the trouble I'm gonna get in later for doing it. Tossing the Hokage above ground, an ANBU was passing through, as the Hokage had left his office and could not be found. Oddly enough, it was Cat. Sarutobi then came out of the lake nearby as if he were thrown and landed on the ground, feet first. Damn, Naruto. You have one hell of a throw. He saw the ANBU. My disappearance? The ANBU nodded. I was fine. Just checking on Naruto and giving him a message. I'm seriously getting too old for this shit. At least I can protect Naruto a little with my position. Can't give in to age just yet. I just wish I could beat that damn paperwork. Sarutobi started walking. If anyone asks, I was simply walking around. Got it? It was in order. Hi. Sarutobi then continued to walk through the forests. The next few days went by pretty quickly. Naruto stayed with Arubadi that night, and went to his mother's place without Sasuke, claiming that it was Naruto's heritage, not his. He had to learn of it himself. Naruto had found his mother was a wind and water ninjutsu specialist, and an excellent swordswoman. In short, Naruto found out his mother was a complete badass. Undine and Sylph both agreed on that. Sarutobi didn't know that he already knew who his parents were. Both of them. Needless to say, having him tell him first was both annoying yet gratifying. It meant he still knew something that was meant to be kept a secret. Then Naruto found a letter in one of the rooms. He opened it and read it. Naruto, I'm not sure if you'll have your father's name or mine, but either way I'm your mother. Anyway, if you're reading this, that means I was right, and the seal was weakened enough for the QB to be released. That is probably why I died. At this he heard Luca speak. She's right, that is how she died, but it was that masked guy's fault. He reeked of Uchiha, and claimed to be Madara. Continue. I should tell you right now, the Kurama isn't as evil as people think he is, but you try convincing people to give up the ideology formed from thousands of years of pain and suffering. Did that as Luca. I know. Anyway, our clan, the Uzumaki clan, was best in 3 areas: Kinjutsu, Kenjutsu, swordplay, and Fuinjutsu. We also had some the greatest luck out there. Fate just loves messing with our heads. We're too stubborn to give in. Listen, if you're just now finding this out and don't know who your father is, and he doesn't know of this letter, your father was the Yondaime Hokage. Seriously, not only are you from 2 nearly extinct clans, you're also the descendant of a great hero. The Uzumaki clan forgot his name, but always pray that a fire spirit will guide us when we're down. We used to live near a volcano, after all. Sal? Yeah, she's talking about me. By the way, there's a vault in the basement. Your father made a copy of every jutsu he knew, and created, and we put them down there. I had him do that because I figured that, if we died the day you were born, you'd have to find some way to learn your father's techniques. His oration is down there as well. Reading may be boring, and I'll be the first to admit it, but there are times it is necessary. Any of the Uzumaki clan texts that were salvaged from the old clan home are down them. Same with your father's clan texts. Never went over those of his clan, granted he also never went through mine, but you should go through both. Good luck, and give this world hell. Kushina Uzumaki, aka your mother. P.S. You're the only one aside from Kakashi Hatake that can enter this house. It's why I left the letter in here. He wouldn't go into this room because every time he did he nearly got his head cut off. P.S. You were conceived on the nightstand in the corner. Naruto's sweat dropped. Badass or not, she's insane. That's Kushina for ya. Complete badass, yet partially insane. She earned her nickname Bloody Habanero. Sometimes I questioned her sanity myself, but that's the usual for an Uzumaki. You learn to live with it. Naruto chuckled for a bit at that. Then found a picture. It had what looked to be an older version of him with a pregnant red head. Mom, Dad, Luca, what would you say if I dyed my hair red like my mother's? I'd say screw the dye. I'd be able to make you a true redhead. I know exactly which DNA sequence is for your hair, and I know what your mother's was, as well. Just say the word and I'll change it. Guys, I say go for it. Undine, do it. Salamander, you want a part of your mother. Go for it. Gnome, I say make it like your mother's with streaks of your father's blonde hair. Get a little of both. That was Sylph. Naruto blinked. Luca, could you go for Sylph's idea? Yeah, I can do it. Then please do. Naruto felt a tingle, and his hair changed color. It was a crimson-red color, spiked on the top and front while the back and sides went down to his neck. There were a few blonde hairs in the hair, enough to make them look like wires in the red. Naruto checked it out in the mirror. I like it. A lot. I got to agree with that. Exotic hair, I'll admit. Gnome admitted, not regretting the idea for a second. Sylph replied happily, you know what? Sylph actually had a better idea than I had. Undine didn't say that she wished she came up with it. Naruto, if I had a real body right now, I'd fuck you into next week. That was Salamander. I'm not sure if that's a compliment, or something to be scared of. Naruto admitted, compliment. If Sal wants to fuck you then you've gotten into her taste big time. Naruto didn't even respond to that. Well, I've gotta go get my registration finished. I'll take the picture like this. I'm keeping this look, he told them all, before he walked out of the house with a smile on his face, in different clothing. He sent a shadow clone with the designs for new clothing to Dustin to have them made. He then got his picture taken and finished the registration. He was currently seeing Sarutobi with his new look. Naruto, did you dye your hair? Nah, it was a seal in Mom's place. Apparently it did this to my hair. I kinda like it. Naruto admitted. Besides, the change in hair helped me as well. I haven't gotten a single dirty look since I left with this hair. It won't last, but it'll do for now. Sarutobi smiled, before Naruto picked up a kid about to come through the door. It opened and the kid then spoke. On guard, old man. Then he tripped on his own scarf. Oh, damn traps, he then noticed Naruto. You tripped me. Naruto's eye twitched. Not as bad as some but still. And who are you? Naruto asked, not even sure. The kid got up in his face. The guy who's gonna kick your ass. That made Naruto snap. He grabbed the kid's collar and pulled him up. You really think you can kick my ass? I took down the Hokage in one move. Something you can't do. Did the same to the Kazekage a year ago, and still won. You think you got a chance, kid? Another person came through the door. Unhand the honorable grandson of the Hokage. He roared. Naruto looked at Sarutobi, who nodded, as if disappointed. He then looked into the eyes of the kid. He found what he was looking for and hid his smirk. Kids like me in a way, let's let him know. Getting impulsive? Undine questioned. It's in my blood. Naruto replied before hitting him on the head. I don't care if he was your grandmother. You don't insult someone that could kill you in an instant. He fell to the ground, newfound respect in Naruto, who looked at the Hokage. I'll see you later, Hokage-sama. Better to blow off steam elsewhere. Naruto then vanished. Naruto appeared on top of the Yandame's head, and sat down, his ocarina out. He started to puff a few notes, before he went all out for a song. He didn't care that someone was nearby, considering he knew who it was, and didn't care if she found out he played the ocarina. He honestly couldn't care less about her. He played and then the girl nearby came to him, and found him playing. He could feel her shock and surprise at who was playing. Sylph looked at her with her invisible form. Knowing Naruto was in a trance while playing and immersed in the flow, she didn't say a word. Meanwhile, the girl was watching and listening. The music was beautiful. She wasn't that good with music, but she felt exactly what the song was giving off. There was a lot of pain, confusion, and sadness, all covered up by happiness. Something that confused her. She continued to listen until it stopped. Naruto didn't even look at her, but he spoke. What are you doing here, Sakura? The voice was familiar, but she couldn't place it. She couldn't speak. Naruto got up. I've known you were in the area. If you're looking for Sasuke, he's not here. He looked out and found him. He's on 10th Street right now. If you hurry you can catch him. He jumped off and vanished quickly. Sakura couldn't even ask his name. Damn. That guy was hot, I'll say. Seriously, if there's a guy like that in the village, you've been so far up the Uchiha's ass to even see him. Sakura didn't even dignify that with a response. Her inner was horny. Nuff said. Sakura then realized what he said, and went off to get to Sasuke, which Naruto was now warning. Sasuke blinked at the random person telling him about Sakura, but then saw the whisker marks as the guy walked off, and the fur pelt. The clothes and hair may be different, but he didn't get rid of the whisker marks. Naruto, you're one sly fox. He then ran off in a different direction and got out of the area before Sakura could get there, who was confused. Naruto was entering Higurashi weapons in his fur skins. The man instantly recognized him as Naruto regardless of the change in hair color. You dye your hair? Nah, finally found out about my mother. Apparently, she left behind a seal in case I didn't have her hair and wanted it. In short, I used it. My clone dropped off the order earlier. It went through, right? Yeah, I've got the stuff, just gotta get the insignia on. I take it you want something else, seeing as you're a genin now? Actually, I kind of came to see if Tenten would like to spar in Kenjutsu. Been practicing for so long I've had no real opponents. I mean, small bandit camps are one thing, but I'd like to see if I can get a true weapon user to submit. Naruto replied. She's at training ground 9, I believe. You're gonna need a sword. Naruto unsealed his broadsword. Already got one. He replied. Thanks for the help, Dustin. It'll be ready tomorrow, right? About noon. Dustin replied. Good to know. The furs are comfortable, but they aren't really good for shinobi. Now that I've graduated I kinda need the new wardrobe. Naruto waved at him and walked out, the sword on his back, and smile on his face. He then made his way to where TG9 was, and saw 4 people there. 1 female, and 3 males. Wait, are those clones? No, one I recognized from when Kushina was still alive. Meito guy. The older one obviously. The other no chakra in him. Minimi, probably a taijutsu specialist. The group then turned to Naruto. Tenten Higurashi? Naruto spoke. That's me. The girl responded. Her outfit was a Chinese-style battle kimono. She also had her hair up in 2 buns. Naruto put his hand on his sword's handle. I wish to spar in Kenjutsu. I'm new to the genin ranks, and hear you're the best in Kenjutsu in the genin class. Naruto replied. Tenten looked determined. She was definitely in her element. Sure, why not? She unsealed the katana and took a stance. This is my best sword, the katana. Yours is on your back, I presume. Naruto simply drew it slowly and showed it off. It was a standard double-edged broadsword, made of chakra steel. She recognized the sword immediately. You're the one that Hokage had that ordered for? Naruto simply nodded. Well, let's see how well you progressed with it in the 3 years since it was finished. She finished before charging. Naruto had gotten rid of all restraints, and didn't go into serene mind. Apparently, she was slow enough in his eye to act quickly without having to rely on it. She went for an overhead strike, which he quickly sidestepped, and sent a side slash at her, which she dodged. If that's all you have, then I believe I am wasting my time here. Please, I ask that you take this seriously? Naruto said, his voice calm. Tenten's eyes narrowed. He's calling me weak, I'll show him. She took off some weights, which Guy noticed. He didn't comment though. He didn't know who this genin was, but did know one thing. Tenten was getting angry. And an angry kunoichi is a dangerous kunoichi. The weights hit the ground and released smoke and explosions. Naruto had to hold back his whistle at that. That's gotta be at least 30 kilos each, 35 each. Gnome commented. Noted. Naruto then grinned. Well, Tenten's speed shot up, but Naruto was still good enough to see her movements. Now, however, it wasn't easy to dodge, so he blocked her side slash with his blade. Now this is more like it. His grin went slightly feral. She made a few more strikes, and they were all blocked or parried to the side. Naruto sent a few more strikes her way. She barely managed to dodge most of them. Guy, and the other two genin watched in surprise. Guy-sensei, do you know this guy? The mini-guy asked. Lee, I do not. I know everyone that is known to use a sword in the village. Someone with his skills in kenjutsu would have been noticed. I can tell he is at least chunin level in kenjutsu. Tenten is high genin in that regard. She is a girl. She is weak. The white-eyed genin said with a scoff. Both fighters heard this, and Naruto put his sword against his left hip, narrowing his eyes before pulling it out and slashing in his direction. Niji had to move quickly, but still got hit. Never insult someone because of gender or name, he said before blocking another strike from Tenten, who thought he was not paying attention to her. She was wrong. Don't think I forgot about you. Had to punish the fate-bound sexist idiot. He said, that's my job. She retorted before sending more slashes at Naruto, who either dodged, parried or blocked. Naruto was actually having fun. Neither person landed a strike, though Naruto wasn't really trying. His dark side clone got him a lot better than her. After 10 more minutes of neither getting a hit it, he decided to end it, and hit the hilt of her sword, knocking it out and into a tree, before he hit her chest with the flat of his blade, before the tip reached her jugular vein. I see that's the limit of your skill with a sword. You are good. I'm just better. He put the sword on his back, and held out a hand, which she grabbed. I gotta say though, you're already pretty good. The fact is, you're the second best opponent I've had in kenjutsu only, as I haven't faced off with a single shinobi with my sword. You're the first ninja I've faced like this. Who was better than me? She asked. Let's just say I've got a jutsu that can make a complete copy of me that can heal, and takes longer to tire than myself. I've been using that for training mostly. You are not at his level, therefore you are not on my level, but I still say you're pretty good. He walked off. Tell your father I had fun with the spar. Tenten, do you know him? Guy asked. Niji was still silent, glaring at the now leaving redhead. No. I don't recognize him. I know all the regulars in my father's shop, and they're the only ones that know that he's my father. He doesn't fit the description of any of them. I'd have to ask my father about him. She admitted. Elsewhere, Naruto was walking through the village and found that some of the older girls were looking at him the same way Sasuke's fangirls do their crush. Oh god, fangirls? Look at it this way. At least you can get rid of them. Sylph commented. Naruto sighed, before checking the flow. He found Hinata and hid his smile. He could tell she was confused about him, feeling he was familiar, probably. She was probably curious, and started following him. He continued to walk, and picked up another stalker. This one was more obvious. Gigi's grandson. Seriously, that kid needs a hobby. He made his way to a forest clearing where he was sure no one else was nearby. Alright, come out. Both of you. He spoke. They both came out. Hinata Hyuga had filled out nicely, but was still shy. The other was the kid. He sighed. Hinata, why are you following me? You are new, but I thought I knew you from somewhere. She said. She was still shy, but she had gotten rid of the stutter. And you, kid? I want you to train me. Naruto's eyebrow raised. And why would I do that? So I can be the next Hokage. Naruto shook his head. What's your name? He was taken back by the question. Konohamaru. Why do you want to be Hokage? So the village will see me as myself, and not the Hokage's grandson. His voice was much lower. Then answer me this. What do you fight for? Naruto asked. Huh? What do you mean? Your reasoning for being Hokage is flawed. I will not train anyone for selfish reasons. You wish to be seen as yourself, train hard. Make a name for yourself. There are no shortcuts. Hokage is about more than just high power and respect. I learned that years ago, though I never showed it. He sat down on a log. Take a seat, both of you. Let me tell you a story. They both sat down on either side of him. Long ago, there was a boy. At the time, there was no such thing as the shinobi villages, or chakra. The boy's name was Luca. He was a mere 8 years old, and was attacked by a monster. It was a slime girl, as most, if not all monsters were female for some reason. The slime was overwhelming. He had no idea what to do, but managed to beat it back. It was not a weird occurrence to him, but the first time it had targeted him specifically. From then on, he met the monster that changed his life forever. The monster introduced herself as Alice. She was fairly young, but still quite powerful. That monster was seen as nothing but dangerous to humans that knew what she was, but she was also quite kind. He took a breath here. Alice was really named Alafie's Fate Burn the 16th. Her position? The Monster Lord. Similar to the Kyubi no Yoko of the Bijou, she was the reigning overlord for all monsters. The two of them traveled together for a good 2 years, fighting other monsters, but Luca was torn throughout most of the journey. His father was said to have been killed by a monster, and he wanted to atone for his father's sins. He desired coexistence between humans and monsters. Where is the contradiction? His faith and what he wanted were radically different. This caused confusion, but he stopped them with a hand. Let me finish the story. His faith followed a goddess known as Ilias. Ilias is a known hater of all monsters, no exceptions. She and her followers believe that monsters cannot be given a single chance, never mind a second one. He wanted coexistence, but his religion said kill them all, so he couldn't decide which path to follow. That journey was both an eye-opener and his own story. Fight after fight, saving monster and human alike, he took the path of a true hero. He protected those who couldn't. He fought for those that didn't want to, or couldn't. His journey to gather the elemental spirits was long and arduous. At times he felt like he would never make it to the end. But he kept pushing through. Alice had watched him progress the entire time. She taught him skills and how to use a sword. Then, the time came. He sighed, realizing the special jounin that was in the room with Konohamaru was in a nearby tree listening. Luca had made it to what seemed to be the end of his journey as a hero, the Monster Lord's castle. Alice, who had left him before he reached it, was waiting for him there. Even with his father's best friend killing him, Luca didn't kill him beforehand, realizing what went on in the man's mind. The man, who was an avid hater of monsters, didn't see from the monster's point of view. What happened to Luca's father? Hinata asked curiously. That's another story for another time. Naruto stated. Anyway, when he reached the castle, there were 4 beings standing in his way. They were known as the Heavenly Knights. First was the Heavenly Knight of Wind, Alma Elma. Alma was a succubus, but rarely took fights seriously. Really, she did whatever she wanted to, and just tried to have fun. She had finally took the fight seriously, and Luca won. He did not kill her, nor did he seal her with Angel Halo, a sword made from angel's blood and monster scales. Next came Tamamo, the 9-tailed kitsune. She was already for coexistence, but had to fight anyway. Tamamo was the Heavenly Knight of Earth. She was crazy strong, able to deal even more damage than the Kyubi no Yoko of today. That was a battle mainly for dodging, but Luca had won. After that was Erubity, the Slime Queen and Heavenly Knight of Water. Erubity was an avid hater of humans for polluting most of her kind's homes. You see, slimes can only live in pure waters. With the pollution of water across the continent, most slimes lost their homes quickly, so obviously, as leader, she was pissed. She held no qualms of killing Luca, but he still managed to win using a move known as the Vaporizing Rebellion Sword. He sighed. The fourth one was more of a fight of honor between warriors than a fight between monster and human. Granbiria, the Heavenly Knight of Fire and Warrior Knight Dragonkin. She was also the creator of the Vaporizing Rebellion Sword technique. The fight between the two lasted a long time, as neither side was willing to back down. Luca fought for coexistence. Granbiria fought for honor and to find her match. In the end, Granbiria lost. The Heavenly Knights had agreed to his terms, and he went on to see the Monster Lord, which he knew as Alice. That fight was much easier than the fight with Granbiria, due to the 4 elemental spirits. The names of each spirit: Sylph, the spirit of wind; Undine, the spirit of water; Gnome, the spirit of earth; Salamander, the spirit of fire. The fight was a lot easier in theory, and looking back at it, he sighed. He got Alice on her last legs, but refused to kill her, no matter how much she pleaded. It was then that an unexpected guest turned up. Ilias, the goddess, entered the room, and asked why. Luca asked her questions, and found his answer. He found himself. He decided to go after coexistence instead of believing in Ilias. Personal experience, and life had taught him well. No one is inherently good or evil. Monsters and humans may be different in outward appearance, but beneath the surface, there are bones, muscles and nerves. Monsters have emotions, just as humans do. Seeing that firsthand drove the point home. Humans feared monsters due to lack of understanding. Monsters feared humans for the same reason. Both sides attacked each other because of this fear. The lack of understanding caused the fear. The result of that meeting had Luca make a decision: his faith in the goddess, or his dream of coexistence. He chose his dream and drew his sword at Ilias, the one thing stopping coexistence from being possible. The fight lasted a long time. Angels and artificial chimeric monsters were led by Ilias, the pure-blood natural monsters led by Luca and Alice. The fight was long and hard. Many times, the pure-bloods were about to give up. Luca kept them from doing so. Giving up meant they had already lost without a fight. Angel Halo in hand, he was able to take out the angels. It did not seal them, like it did to monsters, but instead killed them outright. In the end, Luca and the monsters won. His reward? The satisfaction that coexistence was finally possible, and was achieved 10 years after the end of that battle. The bonus for him? He managed to snag the monster lord as a wife. He had 3 children. One was to be made into the next monster lord. The other 2, however, were mixed breeds. Their natural form was human, but could also turn into monster forms. They never used the monster form, but it was discovered, through them, that Luca had angel blood in him. It was why he was able to wield angel halo. One of his human children split off when he was old enough. That one carried the abilities of angels, and carried on that part of Luca's blood. The younger one stuck around and eventually, his line gave birth to the one we know as the Rokudo Sennin. But that's another story for another time. He looked at Konohamaru. There are 3 reasons I told you both this story. Konohamaru, you don't know what being a leader is all about. Luca did. Alice knew what was needed, but didn't have the knowledge. Take a page out of Arubity's book. Her kind suffered, so she suffered. That suffering was what led to her hatred of humans. When she finally got over her hatred some time later, her kin were happier. A leader is no more than a person with a higher position than those around him. A true leader acts alongside those they lead. They protect their subordinates. The Hokage is a leader. With what you told me earlier, I would strongly suggest one of 2 things: choose a different path in life, or change your reason for becoming Hokage. That's the first reason. He turned to Hinata. Reason number 2, no one is unbeatable. Anything can be won with the guts, determination, and the right mindset. The third reason, he looked up to the sky. I was once in the same position as Luca. Back then, people wouldn't know whether to call me monster or human. I have a curse, that is also a blessing. Luca fought for his beliefs when it came down to it, and so shall I. My dream is for peace between all people, no matter where they come from, what they've done, or even what they look like. The shinobi system is based on a cycle of hatred, just like back then. My dream? Break that cycle and finally bring peace. To break the cycle, however, I have to join it. Luca did just that. Luca is my role model. He sighed once more. Luca is also my ancestor, through his older son. That's why. He looked down again, towards the tree where the special jounin was. That's why I chose to become Hokage before. His fists clenched. To break the cycle of hatred that is the shinobi world. Just like Luca broke the cycle of hatred in his world, I intend to do the same to this one. Demon, human, angel, bloodline, no bloodline, it doesn't matter. Luca didn't stop, even for a goddess that got in his way. I won't stop, even if I have to face 3. He then smiled, and turned to Hinata. By the way, Hinata, the last time you saw me, I was straight up golden blonde. Ciao. Naruto vanished. Hinata blinked a few times, before she realized who he was. She blushed a deep red, near fainting. Konohamaru blinked as well, but more out of confusion. Who was he? She managed to speak his name before passing out. Naruto-kun, she fell back, passed out with a smile on her face. The special jounin then flew into the clearing and landed head first into the log. Naruto then reappeared. Remember, Konohamaru, there is no shortcut to true strength. Find your reason to fight. Follow it to the end. He then vanished once more. What if Naruto has holy chakra and sword? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel. And leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.